It's alright, alright, alright. Listen, babe. Oh, yeah. 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 It's alright.
hope. Wow, we got some little technical difficulties, but we back on. Tonight's gonna be a fire class. Tonight's gonna be a fire class. I'm excited about tonight, but more so excited this class. Preparing this class gave me a lot of introspection myself. So I lightweight got emotional preparing this class because it touched on some of the real core governing beliefs that I have about the reasoning why I'm here, the reason why I'm behind this side of the classroom. So I want to share some of those insights with you, but I also feel like there's so much density in just the depth of what we're going to be discussing. So you know how I do it. Usually it's just a few words up there and we speak on it. But this time, this class is going. What I was researching was so dope. I didn't want to change anything. I took the whole fucking paragraph and put it up there. I had to every time, and it just kept being so much heat. So I couldn't say it better than the paragraph. So I'm going to elaborate off of it, and we're going to discuss from it. But I think this class can be a game changer for even if it's just one of you, and one of you get an aha moment at the end of this class. I think it'll be worth it because this is really human changing stuff. So I'm not gonna gas it up anymore. Let's get it cracking. So to recap, go ahead.
Integrity starts with self. If you can't keep an agreement with yourself, how will you keep an agreement with someone else?
Now, this may seem like a super light, easy, general statement that makes sense, but this is fundamental. It's fundamental. You know, we talk about drift. And a lot of times drift is used in a negative sense where you're floating and then you kind of don't know where you are, and it's so subtle that you take a nap and you wake up and you don't know where home is. Well, there's other butterfly effects, or we can also call them positive drifts, that once you lock it in to your system and you create a habit out of it, you forget about it, but you don't realize that there's certain things that you do that are really tiny between you and someone else that nudge you towards the direction you want to go. And one of them is integrity. Because integrity creates congruence within yourself, and congruence it's a frequency, it's a vibration. It tells the story about you without you even opening your mouth. If I say I'm going to show up at 6 o'clock, that next day that next day you can count on it that I'm here because I have personal integrity. And soon, people will trust you with their kids. They'll trust you with their money. They'll trust you with their business. They'll trust you with their wives. They trust you with everything. And that goes across the board. I remember when I was growing up, teenager in the hood, and the older D-boys would come bring me money and be like, hey, hold this, hold this, hold this. I'm like, why everybody bringing me their money? Because they knew wasn't $1 gonna be missing. Because that's just how I am. So the butterfly effects that happen from just that one thing, you don't even know how you think, oh, I just have a lucky life, or I'm just blessed. You could be blessed by God for sure, but integrity, you can create your own blessings. In business, you create your own blessings. If you have personal integrity in business and you have excellent customer service and the customer's not happy, with your product or service, if you have integrity, that customer is going to walk away feeling decent. And if you're good, feeling good. And if you polished and you gamed up, you can make that customer walk away more happy with you than they did when they walked up. It's real shit. But the first thing, in order to have integrity outwardly, you have to have integrity with yourself. And that starts with promises that you make to yourself. The beauty of it is your intention and your attempts. So if you are lying to yourself, it's going to be hard to tell the truth to other people. If you can't make promises to yourself, it's going to be hard to make promises to other people. Doesn't mean that we fall off. Doesn't mean that we ain't going to mess up or fall off or fuck up or whatever. Integrity acknowledges it. I know I just messed up. I just messed this shit up. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to get back on it. You don't make excuses. You don't justify. You don't intellectualize for all the super smart folks and create reasons why you did it that makes sense and makes you feel good. Integrity says, whoever I say I am, I am. Whatever I say I'm going to do, I do. And if I fail myself or fail somebody, I acknowledge it and I fix it. That's the fundamental baseline of your business. That's if you were building a house, that's part of the concrete slab that you build your business, your life on. This is real shit. Real shit. If you are known to be a shyster, weak with your words, low integrity, meaning you flop here, flop there, then it's gonna translate in other areas of your life. People may smile at you, but they're not gonna trust you or fuck with you. Today's time, it's a little challenging for people with high integrity. I'm keeping it real. It's a little challenging with people with high integrity. And here's why. If someone said, we're talking today's time. What do you think about my business? What do you think about my health? What do you think about my work? What do you think about my art? What do you think about me in this particular situation? Better watch what you say. Do you want the truth, or do you want the social justice truth? You want the truth? You want the truth, or do you want the social justice shit? Because right now, we in the social justice shit, and I can't shame you by saying anything that you deem negative. Correct? Can't say shit. High integrity people got to just... You like it, I love it. You like it, I love it. Shit. Sky is purple? Yep. Shit, how's it going? Shit, sky's purple then. Because right now, it's not about what it is. It's about what I think it is, what I feel it is, what I believe it is. It's not about what it is. So I can't shame anybody. And what we call shame, what some people call shame, is us just telling the truth. So if your business is in a position where it's not performing, and if I don't have the eloquent words to go around and be super jovial about it to you, and I can't be straight to you, the reason why it's so troubling to some of us is because if someone is lying, they've been working on their integrity their whole life. being a person of integrity. So if somebody's lying, it's not about you, it's about me. I can't sleep tonight because I lied to somebody. I don't feel good about myself. I feel weird inside if I'm lying to you. So, but stay strong. Keep your integrity, because that is playing the long game. Integrity is playing the long game. So it seems real simple, and it's a word that gets thrown around that's in the basic vocabulary of most people, but it's really rare. It's rare. I can take my daughter, who I trust with my whole everything, who I would crash over. I could drop it off at certain people's house and not even blink. Why? I know, completely battle tested in terms of integrity. So, hey, I gotta drop this money out here. Hold this money. I don't even blink. Completely battle tested in terms of integrity. Imagine the value, the currency that person has. Currency is one of the highest currencies that a person can have, and you could start today. You can start today by building your currency up. Looking yourself in the mirror and being honest with what you see and where you are. Making promises to yourself. Have you ever made a promise to somebody who, here's an example. Think about a person that you respect highest, the utmost respect for. Utmost respect for. Now, think about making a promise to them. How would you feel if you had to break that promise to them? How would that make you feel? Very uncomfortable, right? Very uncomfortable. That's how I want you to feel about everything, including yourself. When you break a promise to yourself, I want you to feel that same uncomfortability, because you should be at the top of that list in terms of who you respect, because you are you. But some of us are so used to breaking integrity to ourselves that we don't even feel it. Well, fuck that cheesecake, cupcake. This is 135th time I tried to do that shit. Fuck it. It's life. And it's not saying that we're going to have perfect lives. It's acknowledging it and getting back on our horse, so to speak. And that's what integrity is. Damn it. Okay. What can I learn from it? What can I do? And how can I do better next time? Because that person you felt that you respect at the utmost level, the idea of failing him, oh man. I remember as a kid, it was this family I looked up to. I was maybe 14, 15. Just a great family, a great man, wife, kids, the way he handled his money. So he took a liking to me. I was 14. He was trying to help keep me out of trouble. So what he did was he said, hey, come to the house on the weekend and wash my car and I'll pay you. And he paid me like a crazy amount of money for just washing a car, but he was trying to show me love. So I walked in, and he said, "I'm gonna be out of town." I'm gonna leave the door unlocked. You lock it when you leave. Just go out press the garage door and just leave out, and the garage is closed. So I opened the door, I left the key in there. I walked in the garage. I saw the money. Put the money in my pocket. And so I went to go get the water hose. And when I went to go get the water hose, I somehow pressed the garage door to close. in the garage, and I walked out and the garage door closed on me. I couldn't get back in the house. I couldn't get in the house. I couldn't open the garage, and I got his money in my pocket. Right? So there wasn't no cell phones, nothing. And he's out of town, won't be back for a week. So the idea of him coming back to his garage with the money gone and 2 dirty cars in his garage, I was losing my mind. Because it's like people you look up to, man, I would have threw a rock in the window if I could have. Mm-hmm. Integrity is everything. The literal word integrity means you hold together. The integrity of a car, the integrity of a fabric, the integrity of shoes, the integrity of everything. Integrity is what holds this place together, what holds us together. You can't have tribe without integrity. You can't have a community without integrity. You can't have culture without integrity. The integrity of a culture determines how long the culture lasts before it's infiltrated. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. We only on the first fucking sentence of the first slide. Think about that. The integrity of any culture created, the longevity of that culture depends solely on the integrity. You look at any movement, the Black Panther movement, right? Powerful movement. It got started, got cracking, got going. Big things. It was a lot of explosion. You know what helped tear it down? Lack of integrity. They breached it, infiltrated it. Spies, people who work for the government, it infiltrated it. Lacks integrity. People say hip hop's gone because it lacks integrity. Because now it's a water commercial and they rapping on it, right? Integrity. Integrity. So keep that in mind. Next one. No, the next paragraph.
Oh, the solution is to commit to seeing the opposite of your story as true or truer than your version of the story.
So yeah, can we do that? The question is it possible for you to do that? We talked about being right and wrong, and are we so committed to our stories that that's the side we on and that's it? We have to also be able to see the opposite sides. We got to be able to turn, like, yeah, I like this one. This is the one I chose. This is mine. But what about this? What about this? What if it was wrong? What was it? What's the opposite of it? Because as we're going to talk about maps more, you'll see that this side that you think is right is just your little side. L-I-L, your little side. It's just your little side. There's so many different sides, and this is just your little side. I don't give a fuck who you are. If you are an astrophysicist from MIT, it's still your little side. Always remember that. So then we're not so serious about the side we on, and we're not so in our feelings if somebody disagrees with us. It's just a little side. We just one option. What I just thought of, I got emotional. I thought it was hella dope, but it's just one option. Can I come up with another one? What about another one? What if this doesn't exist? What other options would I have? Next slide. So, Maps, Mixtape Volume 2. We're going to go at Maps some more. And it's going to be fun. Whew. It's going to be fun and deep. Next slide.
How your maps can feed you or starve you.
So, literally, Your maps can literally feed you or literally starve you. Literally. This is how important this maps and territory stuff is. Let's keep going.
Our experience has been that when people come to us in therapy, they typically come with pain, feeling themselves paralyzed, experiencing no choices or freedom of action in their lives. What we have found is not that the world is too limited or that there are no choices, but that these people block themselves from seeing those options and possibilities that are open to them since they are not available in their models of the world.
Oh my God. Can we read that one more time? Let's just read it one more time, please, Shabisha.
Yes. Our experience has been that when people come to us in therapy, they typically come with pain, feeling themselves paralyzed, experiencing no choices or freedom of action in their lives. What we have found is not that the world is too limited or that there are no choices.
Okay, it's not that the world is limited or that there are no choices,
but that these people block themselves from seeing those options and possibilities.
Okay, so people are literally blocking themselves from seeing those options. Oh my God, keep going.
And possibilities that are open to them since they are not available in their models of the world.
As simple as this is, I got a eureka. We go so hard teaching this class. We go so hard. We prepare so hard. We try different angles to teach y'all, different ways to get information through so that it comes through. We books and books on books and podcasts on podcasts and strategies. And I'm reading books to try to get better at what to be up here and like how can I improve? How can I improve psychologically as everything? And then we realize all the options that we give, it's not that we're not giving multiple options. It's not that you don't see multiple options. It's not that it's not good men in the world. It's not that it's not good women in the world. Not that it's not good jobs in the world. Not that it's not money all over the table everywhere. It's not that it's good friends to hang around everywhere. It's not that it's good cities, good neighborhoods, good nothing. What it is that we decide based on our map to block all that good shit and say there ain't nothing here because my map tells me that ain't nothing here. But the territory, people are feasting. And if I told you people are feasting, you couldn't even hear it because your map says that there's nothing there. It's fucking incredible. And we've all been in situations to where somebody told us the answer, but we wasn't trying to hear that shit. We even have a saying in the black community that says, I ain't trying to hear that shit. But you heard it, but your brain literally will shut that off. We have the ability to reject shit after it's been said. And even though it's true. And we can respond with, man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Damn. Good God. Like, let's keep going. Is that it?
Yes.
So that's how you can starve in a room full of food. It's how you can starve in a room full of food. It's your fucking map. It's your map. Your map, you can walk into a room full of food and in your map, if your map tells you this room is empty, Your map tells you this room is empty. Your eyes will literally see no food. Man, it ain't shit out here, man. Hey, it like I ate. I'm full right now. Man, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Incredible. How is that? Why is that? How does that work? How does that work? Have you thought of, think about it. That's incredible. You can be in the same industry as somebody else, doing the same thing, and they're smoking past you. And you can even be better skilled than them. But based on your model, the map that's in your head, your mental model, it will change. It will literally alter. There's a book out there. Have you ever walked around at night or in your room or in a place that was kind of sketchy, and you look and you walking past and there's a bush and you thought you seen like an animal or a monster in the bush, and you looked twice back over there and there was nothing there. It was just a plant. Has that ever happened to you? Okay. Did you know this? Your brain literally saw the monster. It wasn't like it saw a plant. It saw the monster. Because your brain literally creates pictures for you. Our eyes don't see. Our eyes don't see. Our eyes reflect light, and it tells our brain what it is based on our map. Our eyes are just reflectors. They just absorb light, and they decode what the light has reflected on, what the light has reflected on in our irises, and then it sends the signals to our brain to say, this is what I saw. So we literally don't see things. We're not seeing things. It's reflecting light. It's telling our brain, sending the signals to our brain, and our brain is telling us what it is. Yeah, so you seen the monster. You seen the whatever it was. You seen the person with the long trench coat and the hat. You literally seen that person. Because your brain, the signal sent to your brain, it says, hey, that's a guy standing over there. And you're like, oh shit, you looked over again for a longer period of time, and when you really paid attention, it was something else, just a tree. And you're like, oh, it's just a tree. Because that's your map. My girl grew up watching scary movies all fucking day. I've never watched a scary movie in my life. Maybe a quarter of a one. I don't do scary movies. I ain't gonna pay nobody to fucking scare me. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? So, but her and her daughter have. So there's certain things that happen in the house, or there's certain triggers or cues that they'll freak out, and they're like, that didn't fuck you up. I'm like, no, I don't know what that is. And they're like, oh shit, that's from a scary movie. It's from a scary movie they saw 10 years ago, and it's the same sort of pattern or sound that they hear, and now they can't sleep. And since I never saw it or heard it, it's just a sound to me. Because my map is different than your map. So, do you understand the world you're living in, the life that you have, is literally shaped by just the map that you have currently? Your map is starving you. Some of us, your map is starving you. If not financially, emotionally, if not emotionally, physically, if not physically, spiritually, if not spiritually, relationship-wise, map is starving you. If if your map says that black people can't work together, then you're fucked. Not my map. My guys is thorough. And I keep collecting more along the way in life. And we love each other and support each other. And if any of us wins, we all juiced. And you literally wouldn't even hear it if I said it to you. You literally wouldn't hear it, or you'd forget it, or you reject it because it doesn't compute. Next slide.
Almost every human being in our culture, in his life cycle, has a number of periods of change and transition, which he must negotiate. Different forms of psychotherapy have developed various categories for these important transition crisis points. What's peculiar, that's funny, is that some people are able to negotiate these periods of change with little difficulty, experiencing these periods as times of intense energy and creativity. Other people, faced with the same challenges, experience these periods as times of dread and pain, periods to be endured when their primary concern is simple survival.
So, in life, since you were born, I call them little forks in the road. They're little life forks in the road, right? So, in life, throughout your journey, how we have come to be in today's time, who we are, how our maps are created, are based on little forks in the road along the way. Transition points. Other words, AKA known as potential trauma points, right? So, at each one of those points, we got a choice. We got a choice to allow it to traumatize us, or do we learn from it? Do we allow it to traumatize us, or do we learn from it? Either way, we have to give it permission to traumatize us or learn from it. And naturally, there's different types of people across the spectrum. And you have people on one end where everything is debilitating. Any negative perceived thing is debilitating. It stops them in their tracks. It changes them. They broke down mentally. They go crazy. They lose it. They get schizophrenic, suicidal every time they hit those situations, and they don't make it throughout life. Right? That's this far of the spectrum. On the other side of the spectrum, there's people who've been through some shit, and it's like water off their shoulders. It's like water off their shoulders. And you're like, man, that person's strong. You ever listen to 50 Cent? I'm thinking of one example. 50 Cent has he has a smirk on his face all the time, right? When he talks. He got a little smirk. And he has like a nonchalant attitude about everything. And even borderline sarcastic. And he's a little troll. He trolls too. Trolls people. Like, hey. He keeps the same energy no matter what he's talking about. Whether it's him getting shot up, whether him getting stabbed in prison, whether him going to war with the Supreme Team and the biggest dope dealers in New York, whether it's him talking about his mom getting killed when he was 8 years old and having to live with his grandparents, whether it's him talking about getting beat up and boxing and being a big time drug dealer by the time he was 14 and all the shit that he had to do, he just shrugs it all off. He just shrugs it all off. So however he created his map, he used each pain point, each little trigger, each fork in the road Sure. Thank you. Sorry, I'm coughing. Thank you. He used each little fork in the road as an opportunity to learn, to get better. No, it is what it is. What can I do? How can I learn from it? How can I get better? What can I do to get better? How can I learn from it? How can I still get to where I need to get to? Some of us got a story. I got to tell you my story. Man, my story. My story. Oh, my story. If you just knew my story. I got traumatized. I got abused. I got this. I got that. I got so much abuse. And I'm not negating any of that. But again, how do you want your map to be? What do you want in life? Do you want success or not? Because how is that working out for you? How is your life working out for you? Because the answer is your map. The answer is your fucking map. So how is it working out for you then? My sister, and I'm not saying that I've handled my trauma the best either, but I have an older sister. I love my sister, and she's been through some shit, right? All of us have. All of our siblings have. We watched each other go through all that shit, all the abuse. But my sister holds on to it so deeply, and it shit was horrible shit that's happened to her, right? And the people that she holds on to, the pain and anger, are dead. And she's like, I just don't understand how you could just shrug this shit off. I'm like, look, this is my philosophy. Map. Mm-hmm. If you fuck up the first 18 years of my life because I got to live with you, I ain't got no control over that. But the rest of it, I got control. I ain't going to let you win. You winning. You going to win the first 18 because I can't get out the house. But once I'm out the house, why would I let you win for the rest of my life? Me being debilitated mentally by you, if you are an abuser or a fucked up person, that means you're whooping my ass and you're not even in front of me no more. What kind of shit is that? Mm-hmm. I'm a winner. So all the way down to the emotional shit, which means I'm going to win emotionally over you. I'm not going to allow you to beat me after I'm gone. Fuck no. I'm going to find a way to work through that shit. Because now you 60 years old, and if I say my father's name, she'll start crying. Because he did shit wild. Or if I say another family member's name. Oh, and justifiably, the thing is, most people don't want to touch it because they're like, I'm not even going to challenge that because that was some fucked up shit. So who am I to? That was fucked up. No. I need you to find a way to change your map, because we going to the promised land. We going to where the bag is. We going to where the fun is. We going to where the happiness is. We going to where the joy and fulfillment is. Your map takes you to depression land. And for some reason, you're cool with wanting to continue going there. Fuck, what the fuck? We was on that road. I had to be in the car with you on that road when I was a young kid. But now I got my own fucking car. And because of the muscle memory, I'm just going to keep going down that road? Well, why you go? It's the only way I know how to go. It's the only way I know how to go.
That's exactly what came to my head, too. That was like...
No. What you do is you crumple up the map. It goes back to integrity. Integrity says, this ain't working. And I'm out of integrity with myself because I know where I want to be. So fuck this map. Throw it in the garbage. There are people who learn. When you have the ability to brush up, you create bandwidth for yourself to be creative. When you can think of creative ways, there's a book, Mankind's Search for Meaning, right? It's Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was a psychologist, but he was Jewish. And when the Holocaust came, he got put in those concentration camps as well. So what he decided to do was, shit, I might as well do work while I'm in here. So he started documenting everything, documenting everybody's who was in there, and he started finding a commonality. This was his commonality. His commonality was this. The people who was like, oh God, I'm next. They're going to kill me next. I'm going to be the next one. I'm not going to make it. Would always get picked. Because once they line you up, everybody's looking forward. There's nobody saying shit, but those people would always get picked. He said the people who created reasons to survive, when I get out of here, I'm gonna make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. I have my children that I have to live for. I have to live for. There was almost, the guards would just and look for those other people. And it's the only difference, maps. 2 different maps. And he was like, oh shit, then I better start being more optimistic. Cause he's like, I'm stoic. So he's like, I better start following that same shit that those ones are doing and start being optimistic about and creating reasons why I need to get out of here. And he's like, I want to share this book with the world. That's why I want to do this. And guess what? Bruh didn't get picked. He survived. But the only difference is not intelligence, health, is maps. So, to me, this is some of the most beautiful information, because what it can allow you to do is realize, oh shit, it's just a map. A map is not a sentence. It's not a life sentence. It's something that can fucking easily be crumpled up and changed. Have you ever put in an address in your GPS and it told you where to go and you fucking went past the street? What'd it do? It just redirected your ass. It didn't cuss you out, complain, nothing, tell you was stupid, none of that. It just redirects immediately. So it's the same thing. We have the ability at any moment in time, we have a choice. All we have to do is decide to redirect. Let's decide to redirect. All right, let's redirect. Next slide. Because we all got 24 hours in a day, right? So what's the difference between my 24 and your 24? The map. The map. The difference between my 24 and your 24 is the map. All of us have the same day. Here's another thing. Ego. Right? Ego says, my way is the right way, and I'm going to stick with this way until I get there. And some of us have wasted 5, 10 years stubbornly in the same bullshit ass way. Ain't nothing came out of it. 15 years. Some of us been in relationships that long. Some of us has been trying fucked up ass business models and fucked up businesses for hella long because we too stubborn to change the map because our cognitive dissonance says it's the right way. And I've watched these little podcasts and people on the internet say, don't give up, just stay straight, don't ever give up, off your path, just stay on it. That's misreading. That's misinterpreting that statement, which is allowing you to just stay on the wrong road, following the wrong map. Next slide. Any questions so far? It's hella quiet in this motherfucker. Hear a pin drop. Fuck. No, we good?
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep rocking.
The difference between these two groups appears to us to be primarily that the people who respond creatively to and cope effectively with this stress are people who have a rich representation or model of their situation.
Okay, stop. Ooh. You know what it means to say a rich representation of their model? Oh, that's a dope ass word. A rich representation of their model. You know what that means? Means I'm not tied to one way. I got a rich representation. I can go here, I can go there, I can there. I got so many options. I built a rich representation because I'm not married to one way. So I can effectively cope with stress. What creates stress? Pressure. Pressure creates stress. How do you create pressure?
Expectations.
Expectations, but say, let's look in a physical sense. So if you want to create pressure, you have to have a back that cannot move.
You put yourself in
and a front that cannot move.
And you keep trying to pilot it in.
And it's coming in and it's creating pressure. And what happens? The pressure busts out on the other side once it gets smashed, right? But a rich representation means you have way more options than just one back. You have 15. So if you can move here, you move there, you can move everywhere. You have multiple options. So are you stressed? No. If you have a bank account if you have 10 bank accounts with $100,000 in each, and one of your bank accounts gets hacked, are you irritated or are you stressed?
Irritated.
You're irritated. You're irritated because you got $900,000 still that you can work with, so that until you figure out where that money going. Yeah, I called the bank. They're working it out. They're figuring it out. If you have one bank account with $1 million in it and it gets hacked and all that $1 million is gone, are you irritated or are you stressed? You're fucking stressed.
Can I add one?
Please.
Let me just add one. As soon as they turn the sound, turn me. There you go, because sound guy was eating a sandwich. Anyway, point is this. Human pressure is self-constructed. There's no such thing. We produce our own pressure. So just to go with that, just take what he's just saying and integrate those two ideas. Pressure is something you produce in your own mind. That's your map. There's no such like you. If he's rich, when somebody pushes on you, you go, okay, what options do I have? When you're like, I'm under pressure, I'm so stressed out. That's self-constructed. You have the freedom to change that. You just don't. No one's just ever taught you that when you come out of scarcity.
Man, this shit is so cold. Maybe I'm just excited about it. I don't know. This shit is so cold, though. This is life-changing. This shit is so cold. Let's keep going.
One in which they perceive a wide range of options in choosing their actions.
Okay, one in which they choose a wide range. If you got a wide range of anything, how do you handle stress? Much better.
Optionality.
What'd you say?
It's optionality.
You see how this is all tying together?
Is it the same thing?
Man, come on, blood.
Same thing as Slack?
No, optionality.
That's what optionality is. Now you see how this is tying together. You see why we preach optionality. Optionality
It's redundancy versus
makes you rich, literally and figuratively. Anytime you... Now, the goal for you as an entrepreneur and as a human being is to create wide range of options in your mind first. In your mind first. Once you know, oh, it's just my map. The first step is indoctrinating yourself with the idea that my map is just one sliver of millions of maps. So if that is true, whatever problem that I face, there's multiple solutions out there. Not only is there a solution, there's multiple solutions. So I have to be willing to destroy my map for the sake of finding those solutions. And once you do that a few times, you'll realize what the fuck I'm stressing out for.
One of the things that I've been practicing with my team and my training clients, if we first started off having the conversation about loss aversion and like how that's normal for humans, and then when trying to change a behavior, looking at it from the perspective of like trading up instead of taking away, and like that's been really effective. And from that, like I try to pull in tidbits from class because some of it's like applicable without deep dives and like having them read all the stuff, and then some of them not. But we had a conversation based on optionality and how that tied into essentially changing your maps of like, hey, I'm not saying that option can't work or doesn't work, but what are the other things that you can do so that you don't feel like this feeling of deprivation or loss or that negative connotation that's tied to changing a behavior pattern that creates comfort. And that kind of reminded me of this.
Yeah, so the thing is, the reason why change is so hard for most people, because you don't want to. You don't want to. Once you get on a trajectory of understanding that maps are maps, you change easily. Sorry. You change easily. You're looking for change. You're looking for ways to upgrade. You look because you know that at every upgrade of your mental software, every opportunity where you change can be growth from minute to exponential. So you're looking for opportunities to change, looking for it. Where the person is holding on to that same ass way they was doing it. I had an employee. We used to read a book every month in staff. Every month. And so you would literally see our staff elevate, grow. And it'd be one person who was just the same. Because they'd be arguing over shit we used to argue with before. And you just see the difference. And so everybody would talk about what they learned in the book. And we would always skip me. So one day I say, Blood, come on. You ain't reading the books, huh? No, man, I ain't reading the books. Why? Because the Bible is the only book I need to read. That gives me everything. I said, come on, bro. I said, I got a question for you. Can people who read the Bible go to therapy? He said, yeah, of course. I said, well, where do you think the therapists learned their therapy from? Books. So if you're able to pay somebody to glean the stuff that they got from the books that I gave you, that's game goofy for you. Didn't compute. Didn't last. But some people will hold on to their mental models and mental maps even when it's not working for them over consistent periods of time. Let's keep reading.
The other people experience themselves as having few options, none of which are attractive to them.
Okay, now, this struck a chord with me, and I'm sure it can struck a chord with Nana. People come to you and they ask you for advice or help, right? Can you help me with this issue in my business? And you say, okay, sure. Tell me what's going on. And your maps, you see 3 or 4 solutions. You give them one. That's not attractive to me.
Yeah.
What? That don't resonate with me. It's not attractive to me. That ain't it. You hating, arguing, go back and forth. That's not it. You don't know me. You don't know my business.
Cuss me out.
What? Are you serious? So your map is fucked up. But none of these maps are attractive to you that you haven't tried. Let's keep going.
A natural loser game.
Okay, so that means your map is a losing map. You chose a losing map. So any winning ideas, any winning maps, anything that involves winning is going to feel nasty to them. It's going to feel unnatural to them. And it literally reverses in their mind because they have a losing map right now. So winning ideas, winning people, it irritates their soul. Have you ever been around somebody who's like, who she thinks she is? She thinks she's somebody. She thinks she's somebody? Well, aren't we supposed to think that we somebody? Aren't we supposed to think that? What they're saying is my map is a losing map. And this winning person is getting too fucking close to me. And I have to defend my map against that person.
Remember we said the class, I opened the class, that Court wasn't here, and I said, the greatest challenge we've had in this class is shifting the paradigm. Mm-hmm. This is the paradigm. Paradigm is the map of how the world works. That's what a paradigm is how you perceive how the world works, right? And then when you come to me or come to somebody who's in a different paradigm, it's you, even though we're using the same language, your map translates it to a whole different meaning. And so this class is great because he's bringing life to that comment of that black folks are suffering from paradigm shift. And then when we look at white folks who are performing and building big corporations, we think it's some secret like team in behind the walls with the master plan and they all got connected, they all got hooked up, but they have a builder's paradigm, which is builder's maps. And you got the working class paradigm, which is the workers' maps. And so when you decide to build, you try to take your workers' maps and go build, and you work yourself to death. You undermine, you limit your growth. You're not capable of scaling. You sabotage yourself all the time. You're emotionally a fucking wreck. And of course, I'm the person that cussed today. I don't curse today. And so, yeah, rewrite your map. Anyway, point is this. So the thing is that, but this is so cool. This is like, I need you guys to really chime in this class because once you understand this paradigm shift, because you might say, well, why isn't I can't make this shift? And he's telling you that your brain is designed to protect you and block it. Because scarcity and survival has a whole map to itself. And if you want to come out of scarcity and survival, you got to throw all those maps away, which means you're feeling what they call it uncertain. And as a human being, that's like committing you to death.
Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, I started kindergarten, Maxwell Park, East Oakland, right? Elementary. I'm the best kid I can be. They put me in gate, right? And I have different classes and I can read and all this shit, right? Second grade. First grade, I'm in gate. Second grade, I'm walking home from school. And I got all my books, holding all my books. And there was a kid across the street. And he says, Hey, look at Court with all his books. He trying to be smart. And I never carried my books to school again. I damn near threw them in the bushes right then. And I went from that to F's all the way till I graduated. Because he recreated a map for me. Because I'd rather be socially accepted by my friends than do good at school. And the culture at the time was the cool people don't do schoolwork. And I'm an extremist, so I'm going to go all the way to the fucking end of that. And so that's what created because I got caught by a person with who played the losing game. I was influenced by a person playing the losing game. Because a person playing the losing game will still make you get in your feelings. They still have the ability to manipulate your emotions and make you feel less than, lower than. Absolutely. And you will find yourself going down a map and you don't know how you got there based on influence from another person. Let's keep reading. The question is?
The question for us is, how is it possible for different human beings faced with the same world to have such different experiences?
Yo, how is it possible? We all 5 foot something to 6 foot something. Our mamas and or daddies fed us. We ate to the point to where we're healthy enough to roam. We went to school, elementary school, middle school, high school. We can read, write, and do math. We got some work ethic. We know the culture. We pretty much 85% to 90% of the same exact person. How is it? How is it possible for different human beings faced with the same worldview to have such different experiences? Let's keep reading.
Our understanding is that this difference follows primarily from differences in the richness
There's
of their
that word
models.
again. There's that word again. If you ain't rich in money right now, be rich in models, and you'll get rich in money. If you ain't rich in money right now, that means get rich in models, which translates to optionality. Because you have to get rich in some kind of currency if you want to be rich in financial terms. And the currency you got to focus on is your options. How many models do you have in your pocket? Which means if I'm playing cards, how many options do I have to play? How many ways can I play this hand? Just one way? Oh man, you screwed.
Okay, could you put the sandwich down, bro? Anyway, let me say this real quick. I'm gonna brag for a second, but it's to bring this point home. Damn, this is so important. Good one, Court. I hate you too, because you're in my space again. Because I promise we're circling the same wagon. This weekend, this Friday, I have an insight interview with one of the people responsible for bringing McKinsey to a section of the United States. He's a heavy ass hitter. Next month, I'm going to sit down with more millionaires and billionaires than your mind can imagine to discuss strategies. The reason I'm in these rooms is not because, especially social justice, definitely not me, because they'll tell you, I champion, I hate that shit. I'm in those rooms because I'm rich in models. I can promise you, Mashama just went to the Adobe, brought in some of the top people in insight development, and Mashama was on the board of teachers. And he called me up and said, dude, we're on point. Matter of fact, we're on the cutting edge. The shit that we're doing is so in front of our peers that people from Apple was like, wait a minute, we need to hear more. a lot of us are suffering. And so when I come back to my community and I have conversations, our models are so close to slavery, you have no fucking idea how bad it is. The world's moving. There was somebody who wrote, I'm trying to look up this guy's name. I probably can find it before the class, by the time I get up. There's this guy who wrote in the 1800s that he didn't want black people integrated with white people because they had suppressed us so much that we were 200 years behind them. I'm not saying we're 200 years, but we definitely ain't right behind them. And there's a lot of this stuff a lot of these ideas and these conversations, this tone, our music, is so much. And mind you, I'm not trying to sell or brand white culture or nothing like that. I'm trying to brand progress. And we're capable of progress. But trust me, what's holding most of us back? It really ain't. Because I'm here to tell you, I'm also sitting with the top people of education for California. The top. Talking about from the governor's office to all the way down to people who are playing the most critical, innovative roles. People not as smart as you think they are. And yet, a lot of us are shrinking ourselves. The reason we're suffering is not because somebody's so smart they figured out how to oppress you. You're suffering because you're not growing your own models.
Yes. Let's keep reading.
Thus, the question becomes, how is it possible for human beings to maintain an impoverished model which causes them pain in the face of a multifaceted, rich, and complex world? You need to go to the altar.
How? How is it possible?
Pray for me.
Understand this.
It's crazy.
Your focus, if you are not, first of all, once you are integrity with yourself, that means you can be honest with yourself. When you can be honest with yourself, then you can determine whether or not there's value in any of those aspects of your life. So if there's utility in any of those aspects of your life, then you can gauge whether or not your map is working. If you have an impoverished model that you are choosing to have, you have to go micro, you have to go macro and meta, right? So let's go back to the micro, macro, and meta that Nana talked about. Macro says, how is this working out for me? How is it working out for me? Meta is your map. Where am I going? Where have I been and where have I been heading? What's my direction in life, in business? That's the meta part of you. Now, if you want to detach or detangle or dismantle your map, here are elements of your map. What you read, who you hang around, what you eat, if you exercise or not, what kind of music you listen to all the time, how do you manage your dark sides, what's your spiritual practice, what skill level are you working on? Those are all elements of your map. Now, if all of these are fucked up, then I can guarantee you that you have an impoverished model. We got a little shadow sides where we got to get it out. I get it. We listen to a little Too Short like Shabisha.
I do.
Go to a little strip club or something once a year. I don't like that's.
Amen.
That's managing your shadows, right? But if on a global basis, on an average basis, all of those things are impoverished, then you are impoverished. You are impoverished. Understand that. Those are the elements of your map. Next slide. Oh God, this shit is. I don't know what else.
Court, there's a question. Is your map a collection of your governing beliefs?
Your governing beliefs are absolutely inside your map. Your governing beliefs are like the gas pedal in your car if you are on a map, if you're following the map. Yes, it's elements, absolutely. So the truth and freedom. So we already started talking about it slightly. What are the elements of your map? So some people say, well, I don't subscribe to working out. I'll just go get surgery. I'll just win the lottery. I have certain rules around. I just find somebody with money, like that being dedicated to that mental model of yourself. Or those things are detrimental. You have to be free, and freedom is back to optionality. Freedom is optionality. I'm not binded by one map. If I hop on the freeway and there's traffic, but I know this city, this is my city. I got 3 ways to get where I want to go because I know I can, if 580's clogged, I can go up through Skyline, come back down. Skyline is high enough to where I can damn near see where the traffic breaks up and then go back down. You a new person in the city, you don't know that. You don't know that I could hop on San Leandro Boulevard around the potholes and be right along the freeway with everybody else if 880 is clogged. You can't bind me. I'm also willing to take the risk and hop in the carpool lane because I don't give a fuck. If I need, I'll take every option. What's the worst that can happen? I get a ticket. That's $358. Okay, fine. I'll take that risk. I'll figure out what all my options are. I got pulled over one time. Carpool lane. Hey, you can get tickets here. I said, look, man, this is the first ticket I got in 12 months. I call this, I pay $358 a year to be in the VIP lane. That is my map.
Yes. Yes. In your face.
That's my map. Even if I had to pay it twice, it's still worth it for me because you know how much time I save when I commuted in a carpool lane, and it isn't a point against your record. It's a VIP. It's called VIP. This is before fast track. Yeah, if you got yeah.
No. You can't be in the carpool lane with the fast track. Yes.
That's the express lane. No, but this is prior to fast track. This is when I used to commute back and forth to work because my map is, I have so many optionalities in my map and it's off the wall. That's why some people who are wealthy and rich, sometimes they do quirky things and it seems weird and odd to us because our map is completely different. We're like, what is he doing? Wait a minute, you open Steve Jobs' closet and he got 27 turtlenecks and 27 Kirkland jeans? You don't know his map. Mm-hmm. He needs that bandwidth because he's building gigantic billion-dollar enterprises and he's so efficient with his mind and his time that he doesn't want to waste any bandwidth on what outfit to put on. So that's how people can get around the system and do certain things, because when you have optionalities within maps, you realize as long as you don't break no laws, the rules that exist for people with rich maps, it's like a kid in a candy store. I used to pay $358 a year to be in a carpool lane. Psst. And sometimes skip a year. Oh, I got lucky this whole year. Cool. Next slide. I want to get through this.
So the question statement is, so what I'm gathering is your habits are your models?
No. No, it's if you want to say it's your consciousness.
Yeah.
Consciousness is not when people said I became conscious, or I became African conscious, or I rebirthed myself. That's another rebirth in your consciousness.
Christianity does that. Yeah.
The way the models is, for example, 3 strikes you're out. Right, that's a model. 5 men on a basketball team. If you do this, this will happen. If you do that, this will happen. Right? Those rules are not universal. That's the way you see the world. I get mad when people say this. I wish a motherfucker would is a model. Like that's a model. Like straight up. Some people, you can be around some white people who are really rich and do the exact same thing. They're like, oh, well, let me leave. And you be like, wait 1 minute. Show your weak model. You know, when you said this, it hurt me. That's a new model that's preached that is causing damage to a lot of people. Where historically I was taught, my motto was sticks and stones may break your bones.
Yes.
Well, don't you tell me about no goddamn words hurting you.
Yes.
So you see, these are models. And so there's all these beliefs that you're born into. This is why this is kind of hard for some of you guys to understand. And some of you guys may have to discover this on the journey. There's things you've been taught since you've been here since day one. The generation before didn't even believe none of that shit. The generation after you won't believe none of that shit. And sometimes the community you were born, most 99.9% of the time, the community you belong in have a rich group of models that you inherited, and you think that's the way the world thinks. If you get on a fucking plane right now, just go to fly to fucking Mexico. Fly to Mexico and just walk around and just start sharing your ideas, and you realize, oh, you in America in your neighborhood thinks like that. Or go to another place down south. You'd be like, oh, shit, y'all don't think like that. So mental model is at the core of it's your operating system. You ever brought a computer and have an operating system? The shit come on and just light and it just might say Windows. And you'd be like, okay, what the fuck, right? But then when you put the operating system on there, you're able to do shit, right? You change the Apple, it's gonna work different than it did with Windows, right? So your model is like the operating system. Now within the operating system, you have governing beliefs. You have all these different layers, allow the operating system to show up. But you can literally change your operating system as you see fit. Especially, and then as you get more advanced, you'll have different variations of operation systems based upon what you're doing. So what I have in business and what I have in this area of business and this area of business, I have multiple mental models that can switch up and change and update based upon as I learn. So this whole idea of this is who I am, this is my story, all you're doing is solidifying a model that's been so fucking outdated. And the reason your shit runs so slow and gets the blue windows of death and crashes and you calling IT all the fucking time, because you haven't updated your fucking model since you've been here.
Excellent. Well, eloquently put. Motto is, if we gonna go on a date, you got to spend $200, $300 or more on a first date.
You gonna be.
That's a lot of impoverished, unhappy women's model right now. And if you put that model out and the crowd jumps on that and be like, yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right, you just created and expanded a global model that's destructive and toxic.
I don't know if you guys saw Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. Shamar turned me on to this crazy stuff that's entertaining. But Shannon Sharp said he took a woman out to dinner and he asked, and he ordered whatever he ordered, and she was taking a long time. And so Shannon said, what's going on? She said, I'm trying to think of what goes with lobster. He said, condoms. Because if you order that, we having sex tonight.
That was his model. That was his model.
If you order that, you better get some chicken.
Right.
You order that, condoms go with that. Don't you worry.
Oh, man. That's funny.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, that's hella funny.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Shannon Sharp.
Y'all about to turn this to a different class. Oh, Mike. Teach your lesson, Mike.
Ah, that's real. Next slide. That's hella funny. All right, next slide. That's church.
Generalization is the process by which elements or pieces of a person's model become detached from their original experience and come to represent the entire category of which the experience is an example. Our ability to generalize is essential to coping with the world. For example, it is useful for us to be able to generalize from the experience of being burned when we touch a hot stove to a rule that hot stoves are not to be touched. But to generalize this experience to a perception
Come on now, this is
that
great.
stoves are dangerous, and therefore to refuse to be in the same room with one is to limit unnecessarily our movement in the world.
Man, that's why I couldn't chop it up. That's why I couldn't chop it up. That's why I couldn't paraphrase this. I had to put the whole fucking paragraph in here. A lot of us live right now that like stoves are dangerous, therefore we will not be in the same room as a stove. We literally live like that and wonder why we can't eat. Next slide, for the sake of time, because I go off on that one. But
Optionality, assumptions, empathy, being uncomfortable, listening, first principles, second order, and other stuff that will assist in giving you the life you want.
I'm just going to let that sit there for a second. Because that is your cheat code to creating new maps. When you always are looking for other options aside from what you think is the best idea, you just got a little richer. When you stop making assumptions, you just got a little richer. When you have empathy for other people and you listen to them, you just got a little richer. When you incorporate first principles and second order thinking, then you just got a little richer in your models. It's not rocket science. This shit is basic, but basic application. Most things that get you rich are basic. I'm probably gonna just double back on this next week because I want to go off on this one too. But let's go. Next slide. This next one is important. This is the one I want to touch on.
Mentorship is the wormhole to new territory and new maps.
So you guys want a hack? I ain't used that word all year. We gonna call it a hack. This is the first and only time I'm gonna say the word fucking hack, right? Because it's a bullshit word. But if you want a hack to create new maps, mentorship. If you are around the person who has what you want, it's going to bleed off on you. It's going to influence you. So get a mentor. Get somebody who has what you want in the area that you want it to be, and that helps you create mental models because you can learn not just from what they say, but what they do, how they behave, how they respond, how they interact, how they act. Those are the ways that you can get there faster. I didn't have, like, my pops was out of my life at 8. My best friend's dad didn't know that when I spent the night over their house, I was watching every fucking mannerism that they dad did. Which side of the wallet he put in, what he put in his wallet, how he looked at his fingernails, how he walked, how he talked, how he interacted with his wife, the kids, what he bought them, how cool he was, what time he came from work, what cologne he wore, all the shit. Because I knew none of it. Just being in a room with him, he didn't even know that I was creating a map from him. That's mentorship. Be in a room with people who have what you want. It creates a wormhole. That means a much faster way to get there because they've already did all the hard work and due diligence, and they're at the action part of what works. They're not trying shit out in front of you. Mentorship. Any questions?
Just a statement. I think this space is making being great fly in our culture where anything is going right now. Like it's so. I'm looking at the questions online. Some of this, many of us have not ever heard, right? Especially like, not I mentioned older generations, they had a very different map. So if your older generations are no longer here with you, you don't have those reminders anymore. You don't have like this admonition. If you didn't grow up in that, and just depending on what age you are, you may have never heard anything other than you are a victim. So it's dope to be to be a part of a conversation where like being elite and being excellent is considered fly. Like thinking about when you were told, oh, you want to be smart, that's stupid, is dope to consider that someone who may have gotten a similar message now has a space where people are being unapologetic about being elite, about being excellent. And that can't be emphasized enough because our culture has just been given trash and like victimization and so much ego protection, so much language, so much, and it's been, you know, the power of it is that it's become a subculture. So it's everywhere. So to be able to say that you can be elite, you know, when we were looking up to hustlers, at least, you know, and not just here, but other places, like everybody looks up to Kobe. Kobe wasn't a hustler, he was a square. But people, like to start to feel, at least for me, I have a lot of optimism of what is possible because I'm starting to hear more of you can be elite. And I think that is a place that we can be, especially as, in my opinion, like social justice. So I'm not gonna, ego, the social dogma around ego protection is starting to, in many places, it's not really panning out, and there are people who are looking for something else. I think it's dope to be a part of watching being elite and being excellent start to be in the conversation in our culture. So it just makes me really excited. So.
Dope. All right,
Just,
we out.
just real quick, that's, so you know I said that this class is attacking the impact of slavery, Jim Crow, and the crack era. You just described the impact of the crack era. It broke up the transfer of knowledge.
All right, y'all.
We got one more.
Okay.
This kind of ties into something you were saying earlier in the beginning of class about integrity and into mentorship. So, depending on how long you've been on your entrepreneur journey or just living, right? Like you acquire mentors throughout your life and they will lend you checks based on how you show up to them, right? So you'll get a certain amount of time, you'll get a certain amount of feedback based on like their interactions with you, and they'll decipher how much they're gonna get cut, burned, participate in the foolery as you're growing, right? What you said earlier was crazy fire to me about integrity, because overall, I'd like to think of myself as a high integrity person. But I do find myself in times of scarcity or high stress where I can break promises to myself a little easier. And I loved the position that you put it in of you can be reinventing your integrity every day. And that made me think about mentorship. And one of the things that I struggle with, past tense and present, is I was really young and had really horrible models when I first came into the business game. And I was popular, so I met a lot of people. But in one of the things that y'all said in the beginning of classes of like the fastest way to kill a bad business is to give it a big spotlight. So I essentially wrecked a lot of relationships because I had a really big bright light on me, and I had a lot of people that were listening to me, but I was emotionally and life deprived. Like I just didn't, I just made bad decisions based on where I was at. And so there are relationships that I know would be advantageous for me as a person of integrity and as a person that wants to have impact in my community to mend or build those relationships, to have better interactions and trust and engagement with people for better mentorship opportunities. But how do you go about that if people's past experience of you has been like something from 7 years ago and you're not the same person? Like, how do you mend those relationships or show up to show that like, hey, like I have much higher integrity, or I've grown, or, like I'm not the 25-year-old that started the business. Like now I'm 10 years in and like I got a little more sense than I did before. Like, how do you work on those acquiring either more leverage in those mentor-mentee relationships or reaching out to mend things with people that you might have just, not ended things on the up and up?
Service. Be of service. Being of service is one of the best ways to break down defenses in those scenarios, because when you are of service, you're instantly adding value to the person, and you put yourself in a position that's not in a dominant position, but in a place of service. How can I serve you? Hey, I got this thing for you that I want to serve you. Here, I have some value to you. Here, take the value. It's a trust thing. So if we've all fucked up certain relationships in our lives at certain times, and some, they're gone forever based on the ego and the lack of grace in that other person. And you got to chalk that to the game. But in most ways, how you show up to them from a place of service. If you place from a place of ego, or you trying to force them to feel a certain way based on, man, it was 7 years ago, then too much. That ain't gonna work. But if you approach the situation with a place of service, how can I serve you? You showing up to them from a service place is hard. You can dismantle a lot of people if they have, if there's a vested interest. Like, look, I may not like this person, but they just brought me this thing that's good for me. And then you back off. You keep adding value, then over time, you mend the relationship. Yeah. All right, y'all. Brief intermission.
And it's a fourth quarter, and we up by 40. And Scott and Cord just scored 70 points, and he just pulled me off the bench talking about finish the game off. What the fuck you want me to do? It's like this, some bullshit. I'm passing dudes. I'm like, what is your name? I ain't never seen you play before. This is I'm gonna get tense with this one, but it's the same. It's not the same path. So y'all know this is the next class is the last class for the year. Then we're gonna take almost a month off, and they're gonna start up again in January. One of the differences in January that's gonna be different than this year is I want to. Court highlighted something. We're teaching. The reason you don't hear a lot of this stuff, and it's not as common. This is really a lot of advanced education. I work with a lot of people. Trust me when I say this. I walk into a lot of rooms, and I get the white version of say what, right? All the time. And because we study all the time, we're always getting the cutting edge. And what you'll find is a lot of people in corporate America, a lot of people in very important positions, are operating with outdated data. So we constantly loading, and part of it is our integrity to you. We don't want to show up every day and just, share our experiences. That's trash, because that's only our perspective, and it's limited by sometimes our outdated maps that need to grow. So next year, what we're going to do different is, I noticed that online, Black folks have been targeted by a whole bunch of people that's taking advantage of our state of scarcity. So they keep coming up with this, you just need to invest in some stocks, and you just need to make this move, and what you should do and should do. And it's scaring me, because you could burn it. It's like what the conscious community, Black conscious community, did this, where a lot of Black conscious folks started weaponizing consciousness thinking to raise their status and exploit people. And then the next generation was like, I don't want to hear that whole tough shit. And that's cool with that, but it's not cool with, I don't give a shit about this entrepreneur shit because it's full of shit. And the reality is that there are entrepreneurs out here who are doing exceptionally well, who just can't wait to testify, but most entrepreneurs can't teach. The benefit of me teaching this class is that in my business, I have to take very complex ideas and simplify it for people in the boardroom. Because if I get lost in my jargon, I lose that emotional connection to the insights I'm providing for my customers. So the benefits of me being here to take complex models, complex theories, complex ideas, and grind them down to a point where I can transfer them to my peers, that's a benefit, that's a gift back to me. So next year, we're gonna let the online classes be all free. If all you can do is be online, it's free. Now, we will charge for the portal. That way we keep the portal and the group rich. And we will charge for the in-person classes because we want to keep those spaces rich. But we want folks who don't have the money or don't have access or just never even knew we existed, we want to give people the freedom to share it without having the restrictions and the firewalls and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that's going to be something that's going to be very different from next year. We're going to pick up, I have a group of books. We're going to probably have 4 books we're going to teach from. That's going to be the core books that we're going to focus on. 2 for core, 2 for me. Now, we will reference maybe 3 or 4 other books that we're going to pull passages out of, but we're going to focus on, that will give us the room to be creative, dynamic, and listen to you guys and adjust the class. Where if we have too many books that we have to kind of go through, then we'll find ourselves focusing on the books and not focusing on you. So we're going to reduce the amount of promises, even though the class is going to be probably richer than it was this year, because that's kind of our promise to you guys, is that we will be better than we were the year before every year, right? So with that said, let me get into this other idea I want to share with you guys. They did this experiment at a university. I should have looked up which university it was. I'm the type of person that would verify something, then not give a shit about the name of the university. But you guys can look this up on Google, so that way you could tell that I'm not making some shit up. But they did experiment with a group of college students. And the goal was to shock all the college students. They took 2 groups of college students and they was going to give them electric shock. And one of the group of college students had people who were part of the experiment amongst them, but they didn't know it. So they shocked the 2 people who were part of the experiment first. And it's like, oh, that didn't hurt. They turned it up. That didn't hurt at all. And so then what they realized is that the humans following them that was part of that same circle, who in that same group said, yeah, it didn't hurt that much at all. So they brought in the other group and they had nobody implanted. It was just the group. First person gets shot, ow, what the hell? All of a sudden the whole group had the same level of pain. And what they found out is pain is not a natural reaction between I sense pain, I feel pain. The degree and the magnitude of pain that you feel is subjective. Which is, again, pain, the magnitude of pain that you feel is subjective. So what they found out is that pain is a form of contagion. If you are around a group of people that says, oosh, that hurt, that hurts, it's going to hurt for you. If you're around a group of people that says, psh, it's nothing for you. I want you to kind of sit with that for a second. I want you to think about, I was in the office the other day and this guy said something and I was hurt and offended. I want you to think about all the fragility that's being taught to you today. Even in the intent of saying Black Lives Matter, is counter preaching fragility. Meaning that you might say, well, Nana, why are you sharing this shit with us? If you're pulling yourself out of poverty, oppression, or anything of such, you know how painful that is? Or it could be. And if you don't have any pain tolerance, you know what's going to happen to you? You're not coming out. Do you realize that usually at war, if a group of people are charging you, then what's going to stop them is a group of bullets or some kind of chemical or something, right? But for some of y'all will fall to the ground if they called you a nigga bitch. Oh no, they did. Oh, they did. That's all it takes. That'd be the easiest war. They will whoop your ass with a loudspeaker. Whole bunch of black women just laying out on the floor because they called your name. I want you guys to see the level of fragility that, now you might say, well, Nana, where are you going with this? How does a fragile person deal with a life they can't stand? They kill themselves or kill you. It can be slow or fast. It can be with a gun or it could be with drugs. It could be, like Kevin said to me, Irk said to me today, he said, we don't went way past getting high. We ain't getting high no more. We on some other shit now. Right? We're so fragile, we don't want to deal with life every day no more. We're so fragile that we don't want to fight our own addictions. Ouch, fight my own addiction? We're so fucking fragile, we leave our children behind in relationships. If you get married, you don't get to walk out, you know that, right? It ain't that easy. Now, if you walk out, it gotta be some real abusive shit. And if you have a child with somebody, you married. Forget all them fancy words. Right? You motherfuckers will say, I'm not happy. Out. Daddy went to get some bread, ain't been back since. Fragile as fuck. I'm gonna go somewhere with this. So, talking to somebody the other day, a young sister next door to me, she said, Nana, in your opinion, what is the impact of being defensive? I said, defensive is the ultimate act of weakness. What the fuck you mean it's the ultimate act of weakness? I said, okay, I'm gonna go deep for it. I'm not gonna use this. I'm not gonna use none of that pop culture shit. I'm gonna go straight to the point. Every thought in your head right now that you haven't shared with anybody, business-wise or any otherwise, those thoughts are weak. All your thoughts are weak. Your strategy is fucking weakest in your head. All strategies, when they're in your head and haven't been shared with other human beings, they are fucking weak. It's when the idea is expressed through communication and comes up against friction. Friction, people. Friction. Your idea develops robustness, or it replaces itself, or expands itself. Your desire to protect your ideas is protecting your fragility. Meaning that when you're defensive, leave me, don't touch my idea, don't fuck with my ideas. You got a group of just weak ass ideas. All your map, your car, your tire, everything about your system is fucking weak. Have you ever wrote something and then read it to somebody who's like, oh shit? That's how your ideas are. A strong business team argues. Stay with me now. A strong business team argues. Because the end result, if you ever heard me talk about Masham, I say, I love Masham. They say, why? I said, because at the end of our argument, we win. This is proven across. The reason boysin.com is kicking ass, them white boys argue all the fucking time until they produce the best possible idea. You don't get to be the most smartest person in the room. That is not possible for them. You gotta go and just hold that for a second, just for a second. As soon as I get close to the point. Argue. You wonder why they don't want you in that environment? Get your defensive ass out of here. I'm not playing with you. You got to be able to sit. If you want to be in okay, teams trump the individual. I'm going to prove that better than I've ever proved it today, than ever before. Teams trumps the individual. Teams need to be diverse for ideation to work. But for ideation to surface itself, it has to be argued. I'm working with universities who are fragile. They don't like friction. It's a bad thing, you know. Bullies and all them other little fancy ass words you use to discourage friction. Defensiveness. I'm a label. Respect my label. My label's big chest. You understand me? Don't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? Come brag about this. You understand me? Anyway, that's what my tailor told me. Any point is this, right? And so what you do is you protect your label and weaken the ideas. So one of the reasons that sometimes men and women don't work well in those environments is because women haven't learned the game of friction is the name of the game. We're going to argue. I'm going to tell you that's a dumbass idea, and then you're going to come back and say, no, I believe this is a good idea. And in that communication, you guys are going to produce the dopest idea. Hypothesis will never enrich itself in a protected, fragile fucking environment. So when I tell you that's some soft ass shit, I don't fuck with that weak ass shit, y'all be like, oh, nah, machismo, oh my God. What you don't realize when I'm telling you is that I practice the game of friction. And friction to me is a welcome feeling. And to be, oh, friction, ouch, you scratch me. I'm looking at you like pain is contagious. So if you're gonna be around me, you're gonna become stronger. Ask anybody that's ever worked with me. If you're weak, I'm going to push you away. But most of the cats who came around me reached down inside themselves. You remember the old Rocky movies? You remember the Karate Kid? They would teach you a dope-ass lesson that's been lost in modern-day society, which is you got to have a certain amount of strength to be in this game. And yet we just highly over-leverage this fragility. If you are feeling weak, check your circle. Now I'm about to get into this shit. Let's go to, go ahead, Josh. Pass Josh a microphone because, you know, he's talking that smooth. He had his hoodie on and like he's about to shoot somebody while still be romantic. Go ahead. Okay, I can't hear you. Grab a microphone. Here you go, there. Make sure you give it back to her, she said. Go ahead.
What does a healthy argument look like to you? Like, what is a healthy
a healthy argument, as long as it's not personal. If I start saying, yo, Josh, how many deers did you kill with that sweatshirt? Then that's inappropriate, right?
Hey, I'm eating healthy now. Wow. I'm eating healthy, all right?
That was like a silencer. I didn't even see that shot coming.
Hey, come on.
Listen, you coming up my cultural heritage. Now it's personal. He's kind of
right, though. He is kind of right.
I invented Harley.
But in the discussion, when you're experiencing friction, you never make it personal. That's the only rule. Just don't make it personal. The problem is that for a lot of us, we make our business personal.
Yeah.
We make our ideas personal. If I don't say to you, you're ugly as fuck with that dumbass idea, it ain't personal. If I just say it's a dumb idea, then it's your job to bring the idea to. Now, mind you, it is important for us as individuals to create some safe spaces for you, right? Jasadi, you got a microphone back there. Y'all need to just say sandwich and watch him look up. But the point is this: So the reality is that go pass the microphone back to Shakita. Here you go. The reality is that you if you want to really stimulate more healthy arguments, Josh, you should work on creating a safe space for people to argue without feeling attacked. Right, so I am into safe spaces contextually of, hey, like I shouldn't be able to say, you shouldn't be able to say to me, hey, no, I think we should do this, we should do it this way. And I'm like, fuck you, I ain't doing this. That's not safe for you, right? I should be able to say to you, no, I think that I disagree with it. I think it's a bad idea. That's safe, but friction-based disagreement. So there's a way that we still have to talk to each other, show respect, and it should never be personal. I can't be like, you always say stupid shit. That's not safe for nobody, right? But if I say, I disagree, why do you always arrive at that point? Like, what's your motivation for going there? I'm saying the exact same thing without throwing an attacking tone. So I've seen environments where men can handle that level of friction and still function, but that doesn't really scale well because people come from different backgrounds. So because of diversity, you want to create a degree of safeness. Don't make it personal. Don't use language that makes it feel like you're trying to hurt somebody. Okay. All right. Let's roll into the lesson because I'm gonna bring all this together so cold. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm excited about this.
You ready?
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's start with this one here. Let's go.
Okay. We'll never be exceptional at anything unless we raise our standards.
Say that one more time because I don't want you guys to read this. I don't want you to let this first part. It's so important. We'll never be what?
Exceptional at anything unless we raise our standards,
Go ahead.
both of ourselves and of what's possible.
Let me break this one down to you because this is not even broken down. This is kind of like those who know, but I'm gonna give you guys this on a little bit deeper level. One of the greatest myths in the world is the reason human beings are the greatest is because we're the wisest. Now, there's no other animal on this earth that's like us. But what they found out is that it's kind of not true. Our closest cousins, which are chimpanzees, they did a test which was a speed test and a spatial test. Right? So speed was, they would show you a card, like they flip 2 cards over, flip them back. You tell me, what was those 2 numbers? 3 cards, flip them back, what was those 3 numbers, right? And they would flip the cards at the speed of 6.5 seconds down to 0.2 seconds, right? Chimpanzees smoked us in speed recognition. They can recognize, they can smoke us. But we had better spatial knowledge. Here's where it gets cold. Stay with me and pay attention. This is the coldest shit. This is so fucking cold. This is based on evolution science. If you take a child or a young human being and you place them in a tent with everything they need for survival, food, clothing, and shelter, all the food they could possibly need, but you don't give them fire, you don't give them something else, don't give them fire, they more likely will perish. They will die. The human beings singly don't have the capabilities of teaching ourselves fire. You give another animal those same resources, they'll overpopulate. Meaning that human beings' knowledge is not based on the individual, it's outsourced to the group. Stay with me a second. If they took LeBron James, Oprah Winfrey, and say Bill Gates, and threw them on a deserted island that was with predators and everything, you come back a year from now, they're probably going to be dead. What we don't realize is that most of our capabilities is based upon our relationship to the group. Meaning that your intelligence is group-based. Your strength is group-based. Everything about you that makes you strong is group-based. So if you're part of a low standard group, if you're smart in that group, you're smart relative to the weakness of that group. Mm-hmm. If another group is stronger than you, and that person is dumb in that group, they're still smarter than you based on your relative relationship to your group. Meaning that no matter how hard you work at some shit, you're no greater than your fucking group. Now, the internet's giving you a false sense of belief that you don't need a group. I've seen some women go, I don't need no man. Yeah, you do. You don't need that man, but you do need a man. Just like me, I hear some men, I don't need these women. Yeah, you do. You don't need that woman, but you need women. Do you realize that when you went to school, there was other human beings passing it down to you? The only reason we know how to use fire is because the generation before us gave us fire. But if we right now somehow was able to disappear on our kids right now and don't give them fire, their jaw bones and their jaw muscles, their digestive system is no longer capable of eating raw food, like like meat, right? Early days, we had a different design body. That means there's a group of generations of people that the sapien might not even be here no more if we were able just to leave. The reason a child grows up to learn how to use fire is because adults before them pass it down. This whole talk of individualism isn't a fucking illusion, doesn't exist. It's not even close to possible. The human animal intelligence. So the reason we got to the moon, because we built on top of each other's intelligence. And other animals are capable of doing that, but our culture is the fastest evolving culture in the world. In 1980, 80% of Chinese people lived in huts. By 2020, over 60% of them lived in cities. Y'all see how fucking fast that happened? In 1783, I think it was, man finally went from getting off the earth to be able to leave the earth and fly. That was the French brothers, got their name, started with an M. They took off for the earth.
Wright brothers.
No, before the Wright brothers, that's 1800s. So then after that, I think it was 40 years later, the Wright brothers. Then by, I think, another 10 or 20 years from there, we orbited the earth. I want you to see how fast human beings are moving. Then, before you know it, 11 years from that, we go to the fucking moon. And then what year was that we went to past Pluto? I want you to understand how fast humans move. We move so fast that the slavery that we were in and that we still have fresh in our mind, by 2050, the people who are born in era will be like, man, that was crazy that that's the way we used to be now that we're on top of the world. It can happen that fucking fast. Humans as a culture, so why is this important? If you're running a company, you're running a business, if you want your company to become strong faster, don't think it's because you go to a seminar, or you read some books, or you hella smart right now. You know how you make your company grow faster? You grow your culture. Now the person who can poison your culture is you. So if you go out and pick weak ass people because they're your friends, they're my partners, I love them. Weak ass culture. So raising your standards, it's not, I raise my standards. You have to redesign your ecosystem, your group of people around you, the people you talk to. All right, let me go further. If you take this class and you go isolate yourself back to circles who don't do this shit right here, you could cause more damage than growth. Let me show you why. Stay with me because I'm about to give y'all hella fucking game. Don't lose me. Because I want y'all to understand you're a group animal and there's some group rules that you don't get to override. You get to imagine you can override, but your innate behavior, your instinctual behavior makes you follow the same rules like bees follow rules, ants follow rules, human follows the same fucking rules. The only difference is we get to change the stories, but we follow the same fucking rules. This is why people understand marketing. Once they understand the rules we're going to follow, we know where to put the flowers to attract the bees. Okay. Have you ever been around somebody you say, how's your business doing? They say, shit, man, my business is doing good. I'm popping right now. I'm making things happen, whatever. You say, man, I heard you play basketball. Yeah, dude, I'm one of the top players at the gym. You know that person didn't lie to you? Now, let's say we pull their stats and they ain't made a shot in 2 weeks at the gym. 2 rebounds and hit the water bottles that you share with people, right? And then say your business is making $60,000 a year. That's it. And your life costs you $70,000 a year. They didn't lie to you. You said to me, Nana, you a goddamn lie. You just showed me the stats. They lied to me. I'm an investigator. I watched all kind of Perry Mason. I know what the fucking lie is. Your brain is so cold-blooded. It's designed to protect you at all costs. And it will muddy facts to protect you at all costs. So your brain will tell you, when they ask you, are you any good at basketball? You know what your brain's going to say? I'm kind of good. If I brought those facts to you, it would actually hurt you because it's like, I'm not good? You would actually not know you lied to me because your brain muddies all the stories to make you feel better because your brain, number one goal is to protect you. Stay with me, people, right? There's a part of your brain, they call it the press secretary. The number one goal of this part of your brain is to report, and I gave you a podcast to prime you for this. The number one goal of your brain is to make sure you feel amazing at all times. This is why I told you observation knowledge is the weakest knowledge you can get if you go out and try to observe and ask people, like, why are you doing this? And why are you doing it? People can't tell you the truth because part of their brain takes over when it's uncomfortable for them. Stay with me. They're not lying to you. Their integrity, they just can't control it. So they come to Hope. That same person comes to Hope. They sit in class. Never heard this shit before. Oh, damn, biases. God, mental models. Oh my God, this shit is amazing. Strategy, scaling. Oh my God. Okay. Humility, humble. Oh my God. Serve. I'll serve the world. Oh my God, this class is fucking amazing. Oh my God. Oh, wait. What did he say? What did he say? Oh my God. He said integrity and self-confidence. You know what your brain will do? It will take that information, and when you go back to this world, mind you, I said you're an animal based upon the group you hang around. But mind you, the people you go back to, they don't believe in none of this shit. They read none of these books. And from the person you're sleeping with, to the people you eat lunch with, the people at Thanksgiving, the people you see at the gym, they ain't read none of this shit. 90% of the time, they looking at you like, you are the next black Einstein, Jewish Einstein. I'm looking out for you, baby. And so next time you're in a situation and you fucking up, your press secretary gonna take all that knowledge and defend you. Oh, you don't have a bias. Couldn't possibly have a bias. You taking a bias class already. You know what all the biases are. I would see if it was there. But if you have a bias, I can tell you what's wrong with y'all, right? You will weaponize all of this knowledge, all of this fucking knowledge, to keep yourself complacent in a safe space, never changing your map, never changing your paradigm, and betraying yourself and digging yourself deeper in the hole to the point you can't even see the sight of light. But guess what? Now, y'all know I believe in God. I just don't want to talk about it like that. That's Pastor Chris. It's God time. I call him up. God designed human beings. It gives us this unique trait, this unique characteristic that will blow your fucking mind. This is evolution science. I'm using some of the more advanced stuff. Human beings can judge others better than they can judge themselves. Human beings can judge. If you ask, I remember a long time ago, I remember one day I was fussing at Shakina about some business stuff. This is about to be about 2 or 3 years ago. Now I'm fussing at her. Oh, that's stupid. God damn it. Whatever. I'm done talking about this shit. I think it was like a week later, she gives somebody advice and it's the exact same shit. I'm looking at her like, but she goes, that's crazy. I can tell people better shit I can tell myself, right? But that's human. That's not even weird. We all do. That's normal, actually. That's what we all do. So when you in the group, guess what the group does? We become our brothers and sister keepers. So now when I'm giving you feedback, I'm actually can see you. I can't see myself. So then you give me feedback and then we all rise together. You see what just happened? But when we get to this point where we go to the weak groups to make ourselves feel strong, they can't see you. So guess what? You don't even know how crazy you look because no one's able to give you a mirror effect of how you look. You got green stuff on your teeth, your hair looking crazy. You missed a spot. Your face got oil or Vaseline on one cheek and makeup on the other. You looking crazy as shit because there is no mirrors in your fucking group. So the group you are a part of will impact your output from this knowledge you're gaining. By you isolating yourself, your ego will tell you you're better, greater, and more important, but you have nothing to show for it. This sounds like a good-ass conversation at a motherfucking wine club. Because once again, I can judge you. So people come to you for advice, and you think because you can give them advice, it applies to you. But it doesn't apply to you because you don't have nobody giving you advice because you're what? Defensive. Cold fucking game, innit? I even said, you know defensive motherfuckers are horrible at too? She said, what? This is my neighbor. We having a straight up conversation outside. I said, radical responsibility. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, defensive motherfuckers can't see shit. She said, what do you mean? I said, let me explain to you how shit works. Let's say you leave your house, you get in a car accident right now. Bow! And you go, he ran the fucking light. Or he did this. Or he was driving crazy. Or he was supposed to turn the corner and he stopped right away and I hit the back of his car. And you stuck right there in that story. What your brain won't say is, yeah, but I was rushing because I left late. And I left late because I didn't manage my day well. I didn't manage my day well because that week I was hanging on my friends and made some bad decisions. And the week before that, I bought this leather jacket that went over budget. And that over budget threw every week and every day off to a point I was erratic. And on that day, instead of me being a better defensive driver, I had a typical response to a generic outcome. And you'll never see the causation, the drifting, and the layers of thing that cause this, You'll never see. So now, because if you're a person who took radical responsibility, you can link it back slowly. So now, the next time you buy a leather jacket, you'll go, man, if I ain't got the money, I ain't buying leather. Because last time I bought a leather jacket like this, it ruined my fucking week. It's that simple. I'll wait for the sale. You'll have more ownership of decision making that you understand that this small decision. And here's the funny part. When you have radical responsibility, you will never feel all the accidents you avoided. You won't be able to say, my life went better because I made better decisions. You're just going to realize that, I didn't make, it's almost going to feel like God just blessed you for the rest of the year. No, because you had radical responsibility, you were able to link how all these little small things cause this long-term outcome out here. Is this shit cold? Go ahead.
So it's a very popular model about keeping your ideas to yourself until they're fully developed. So
That's old school.
Is that encouraging fragility?
Yeah, that's old school. That's not fragility, that's old school. So old school, when used to have, they call it hippo management, the highest paid person's opinion. Yeah. It was top-down management. They call it waterfall management. You didn't share your opinion for multiple reasons. In bureaucracies, you hoard your opinion for survival purposes. Because in bureaucracies, everybody's trying to fight for value from the person who's most important to tell you, I like this person versus that person. So you kind of like hoard all your ideas. So the reason you protect your ideas is because you gotta, if the idea gets out too soon and the team fail, many heads could roll. In .com environments and in healthy work environments, they're more agile. They toss ideas out all the time. They even have an ideation board where a group of ideas exist, and they'll build it out, and they want all ideas to surface. Because from those ideas, sometimes the worst undeveloped idea has so much brilliance in it, right? But in order for that to happen, you got to remove some of that social justice trash. Social justice destroys ideation. It just does. Because if I keep slapping your hand after a while, I really don't want to talk to you. I really don't want to tell you your ideas bad. I really don't want to do none of this shit. I don't even want to be in a room with your ass, to be honest with you. But if I could be in a room with you and we could talk and we could joke and we can laugh. Do you know, like, if you ever talk to high-end design firms, like top ad agencies, you know what they do all day long? Cap on each other. White folks, whatever race you are, you gonna cap. Because in the humor is creativity. And that's why they keep that going all the time. It's nothing for them. In conservative environment or in these new social justice world, when you said to me, green, I don't think you understand in my culture, green represents pain and like we have this lucky charm and it bleeds green and it just brings back trauma for me. You get your punk ass out of my room. Punk ass? Ooh, I don't know about that one. That type of mindset is that type of culture is a bureaucracy undertone. Do you know bureaucracy was a war weapon to destroy companies? There's a document that says if you want to destroy an organization, they taught you the ways to create a bureaucracy which eventually will destroy and choke off that organization. Because bureaucracy slows down your ability to make decisions, evolve and change and compete. Cold game, right? Nah, let's get back to this reading because I'm going to go deeper into this shit. I'm not going to hit y'all with this like lightweight, fluffy shit. I'm going to hit y'all with a little weight because the goal here is not to give you guys. Some of you guys come to me and you guys over leverage skills. Now, what skill can I have? Give me a skill, and it's not your fault because colleges also brand and leverage skills. That's what they say. They hang their hat on. We give you skills. They're finding out now that even in the job world, that's not enough. In the entrepreneurial world, it's never been enough. I need you to understand why you're using that skill versus this skill. Where the word skill, where that skill even come from? Why do we use the word skill? Like I'm trying to get you past the point you have so much ownership, you can produce all kind of new strategies out the blue because you understand the ingredients and how you're using it and why they work. So if I teach you I can teach you guys simple skills, but by the time you use it, they're gonna be outdated, or they might be irrelevant to you. But if I can teach you the thinking behind these formulas, these models, these strategies, all of a sudden you can be a master of your own world. You guys get the difference? So a lot of times, that's why I hate a lot of self-help because they just throw out a whole bunch of what you should do. By the time you do this shit's already outdated.
Also, too, I think like the resume market wants you to highlight your skills, right? So that even if it doesn't mean anything to your job, it at least means something to the HR person that is looking at your resume. But they don't do the job, right? So they value the skill. But there's so much social dogma around skills, and that's a huge selling point.
Since I've been teaching this class, I can't tell you. I think more people have asked me for skill solutions than how to solve the problem. And like you said, when I try to give you a map of how to look at the problem differently, okay, now can you just give me the 3 steps? Goddamn, all them words. It's like, no, if you could transfer what I'm telling you, you control your destiny, and at some point, I can stop being special to you. I'm only special because you won't take the time to develop yourself. Go for most of us. Yeah, go ahead.
For most of us, that sounds like a lot of work. We gravitate toward being soft and complacent.
So now you understand we're soft and complacent. See how the weight of that now? That pain is contagious. So when we practice this soft and complacency, that at the end of the day, we're putting ourselves in a situation that we can't even raise our standards. You see the connection now? I went way deeper than he did, but now as we read this, I wanted to see how this pops off the page a little different to you than it would have sounded if I didn't go into describing how pain is contagious, how softness and weaknesses is actually like life, making a greater decision, ideation, business growth, changing your conditions, changing your maps is an act of friction. And if you're comfortable with friction, then you can't change. Changing your body shape is an act of friction. You guys know I stopped eating sugar 2 months ago. Go to my tailor. I'm like, yo, this suit don't fit right. And he's like, this is the truth. I'm bragging a little bit, but it's the truth. He said, we don't have something in our computer that can deal with the size, your size of your upper body and the shrinking of your waist. It's such a contrast between the two. We don't have that adjustment in our system. So you might have to come in and we have to customize it even more because there's a difference in that. You understand me? Which is what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? It's okay, girl. It's okay. So so in 2 months I give them sugar. You understand me? And that shit's full of friction. Oh, it's full of friction, and it keeps coming back. It don't just hit you one time and gone. I was out in San Francisco picking up some pieces for my new suits. And I was at the Gorin Brothers grabbing some hats. So Tony's pizza is right there. I'm been trying to buy a hat. That piece is just like, yeah. I'm like, God damn, man, this chick about to have me pass the fuck out. Look, my legs shaking so hard, I'm looking like a stripper. I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous, right? It was horrible on me, right? But yet I had to pull and say, hey, wait a minute, what's more important, being here with my daughter or eating this pizza? I made that extreme for a reason, because I have to remind myself that if I'm ever laying in a hospital because of some diabetes or some other shit because I didn't take care of myself, I have to ask myself, always keep in mind, you love your daughter so much, you want to see as many years as you can with her. Are you really willing to give that up for this fucking bite of pizza one time? Because what your brain does is it makes the moment feel like it's greater than the long-term story. Mm-hmm. Right? The long-term story, like me losing this weight, and continue to lose weight, I'm enjoying, like, it's changing the color of my day. The sugar changes the color of the second, but it makes the rest of my day darker. You guys get on with this? It's easy for me to be like, oh my God, the sugar's so good. It's gonna taste, why would I want to give this up, right? And I think about, because I want a different quality of life. And it's full of friction. But I don't get to complain about nobody about that fucking friction. Because I've been teaching myself since day one, don't be soft, bruh. So y'all be like, oh, Nana acting machismo. No, Nana is used to growing and building, which means that he has to build a healthy relationship with friction, and he has to reach down and understand his inner strength. You guys get where I'm going with this? Keep going.
We'd rather coast.
Rather coast.
That's fine. Just realize this. If you do what everyone else does, you can expect the same results that everyone else gets.
So real quick, did you see now how the power of the group, how the herd, how our innate animal says, you're designed to, so it's hard for you to leave the herds, by the way, because that's your survival. That's why when you leave a group, it's almost like you died. So the reality is that your standards is directly tied to the group you're part of. And if you don't change that group, I don't give a fuck how smart you think you are, that's your limitation. Because your individual intelligence is limited without the group. LeBron James, one of the most amazing, second most amazing basketball player of all time, next to Michael Jordan. That's my opinion. I don't give a shit how you feel. Turn the TV off if you need to right now. But the point is this. But on an island, a deserted island, you know, dessert. You know the word dessert? When I first heard that word, I was like, can you eat the island? When I was a kid, anyway. But a deserted island, that intelligence has no value. It's his relationship to all the people around him, and even his skills. Without his relationship to other human beings, we wouldn't give a fuck if basketball didn't exist. We wouldn't give a fuck if all the people along the way that didn't support him to get him to that point. We wouldn't give a fuck about his game like that. You would never know. There's hella LeBron Jameses you will never meet because they didn't rise to that point and they didn't have the right circle around them to get them there. When Jamie Foxx did that one album that blew up, one album that blew up. Like it was the hottest album. Kanye, everybody was on that damn album. The next album was trash. This is his honest response. He said, you know what my album was trash? He said, I rented a cabinet and I surrounded myself with nothing but people who had no value to wherever I was trying to go. And they caused me to compromise my whole fucking album. This is how important the people you're around, people. This ain't this. Some of y'all stuck in that high school shit. Oh, I love him. They're the greatest people. Oh my God, they're so great. Trash. When you guys start understanding culture is one of the most culture is not a touchy-feely word. It's one of the most powerful words for a human you could ever exist. I think Shakina asked me when she was long. This is when she was 22. She said, Nana, how come you don't date other races? I said, because of my culture. I knew if I had a white wife, it would damage my relationship with half of the black race, the black women's side. And I know personally that if I'm trying to have impact in my community, there is no impact without the black woman. There is none. There is none. You guys are our natural network system, our get shit done system, check a motherfucker the second system. Like y'all got some powers that nobody else has. And so I made so many decisions in my life because I signed up for culture. And when you sign up for culture, there's hella rules you can and cannot do. Many of y'all don't even know cultural rules because you was raised because the crack era stole culture from you. So when I was 19 or 20, maybe 19. And this one older brother that like my mom, but she didn't like him. But he was a cool ass dude. And he would come pick me up and teach me construction. And he said, and so we was working on some stuff, and I had my little sandwich in my bag, brown bag. Because you know, from the hood, you put some fried chicken in a sandwich, something gonna go in that brown bag, right? And he was like, yo, let me just take you to lunch. And I was like, why would you do that? And he's like, no, just take you to lunch. Like, let's go get some food, I treat you. It's like, yeah, but why? Because in the hood, it's like, you treat me, what the fuck you want? I ain't giving you shit. That's how I grew up. That's just, like, don't take nothing unless you get something back. Like that lobster, that's why I thought Shannon Sharp was funny as hell. That's where I came from, right? So he was just like, nah, that's how I move. So then I noticed that when he was around people, he was just like, yo, let's come to lunch with me. Come to lunch with me. You know what he was doing? He was claiming a position. By him showing up, and this is why I do it, the way he became the big dog is he took big dog opportunities and communicated to the other animals, I'm the highest status. Because that's what animals do all the time. We communicate in status tones. We move in status tones. Some of us position ourselves to be bitched up all the time. And some of us position ourselves to be the ruler all the time. And some of us just have no fucking idea. We just in the room like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. The reality is that if you want to be strong in a room, there's certain things you got to do, certain responsibilities you got to take, certain ways you got to sit, stand, talk, move, and everything. There's a certain way you hold a hand when you shake it if you say I'm the person in power. Matter of fact, it is proven. If you ever, because I was with Irk today at the gym, and I said, Irk, ignore what people are saying and see the monkeys. I said, not because I'm calling them monkeys, but see the animal that we are, and it's going to blow your fucking mind. Watch the alpha animal and the weaker animal speak to each other. And the alpha animal will be like, yo, what's up, my man? What's going on with you? How you doing? And the weaker animal, oh man, what's happening, baby? He changed his tone of voice, and his animation says, I'm the weaker one. And the stronger one is more still. And he's talking, and he just watches hand movements. We do the same thing fucking chimpanzees do. The exact same thing, but because we could change the story or lie to ourselves, we think we're not the same kind of animal. Is that shit some cold shit? Like, that's why if I'm in a room, I take a certain dime. So I go out with, so on the end of the year, I hang out with 4 alpha males. Do you know we fight for alpha role the whole fucking time? Have you seen 4 alpha males hang out before? It's the funniest animal reaction. Mother was at the restaurant literally doing kung fu moves to pay for the meals. Right? And why do we pay for the meals? Because
I hate Josh. I hate Josh so much. I hate Josh. I can't stand him.
He did.
so
Am I an alpha male? That's a no.
So reality is that like the reality is that when you're in an alpha role, it's the way you move in certain spaces to say I'm the alpha. Just like when I meet alpha women. See, some of y'all never seen that because you don't even know what that is because you lost it through crack. See, crack destroys so many families. So the transfer of knowledge, you're like the kids who were left in the hut with all you needed, but didn't know how to burn fire, and so your culture died in your own mind. So a lot of you individuals don't know. Oh, when this happened, you must go to somebody's house and be all right. I gotta go now. Fuck you mean you gotta go now? Or somebody said they're cooking and you don't say, yo, what do you need? Well, I'm bringing something. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't even know how to talk to kids. Kids call you by their first name and they even call you N-word sometime, and you be like, oh boy, get your bad ass out of here. And you don't realize, no, that's not cool. There's a saying my mother used to say, you play with a dog, they lick you in the face, you play with a kid, they slap you in the face. I play with children, but I position myself as a senior in that space. So when the children do interact, when all the kids that come to my house, when they interact with me, I'm the senior in the space. My own daughter, who doesn't even understand roles, says, "Dad, your job is to protect the household and protect me, huh?" So yes, it is, daughter. She goes, Can Diallo protect us like you? No, he can't, not yet. But it's reality, like, and she understands what mom role is, right? When I was being raised, I was told as a man, this is what you are expected to do. And at the time, that was normal. White people was talking like that. Black people was talking like that. Today, I don't know. I can be whatever I want to be and do whatever I want to do and express myself, whatever. Even if you gay, you got fucking responsibilities. Fuck all that. Everybody got responsibilities because that's how we all survive as a group. You can't say I have no responsibilities to the group, but I want to be a part of the group or be accepted by the group. It's no, we got to discuss what is your role? What is your fucking role? And then tap into that fucking role. But then often you'll be like, people treat me like shit. Oh, how do you show up to your role? You want to get changed? You want to change the way people treat you? Reposition yourself. That's it. If you want to be the head of a company, if you had a job right now and you're working every day and nobody ever looks at you for management, your position is weak. It's that simple. If somebody pats you on the head, you fucked up your positioning with that person. Now, we're not talking about extreme mental health people, like somebody just crazy and he just pats everybody like, okay, I ain't talking about that. Whatever. Hey, okay, don't get me going because I promise you, if I go here, I'm gonna make the social justice people on this line. They're gonna be protesting at my house and be coming. And I guess what? I'm gonna shoot out all the motherfuckers. Anyway, let's go to the next one. Here's a slide. Go ahead.
Working with the master firsthand is the best education. It's the surest way of raising the bar.
I told you. I told you we teach the same shit. So go back to what Court was saying about why often you can't, the stuff he was giving you game is what stops that relationship actually from evolving. But the way that you start to accelerate your standards is you work with masters. But in order to work with a master, you have to be humble enough and understand the role you have to play to get what you need to get. But so many of y'all want to be bosses, and it's like a group of peasants talking like they're bosses. Meaning that you will never rise because you got to become a servant to become a boss. Key next, I'm going to roll, because some of the stuff he already preached, I was like, this is crazy. So let's get to exemplars and practice. Keep going. Now, this is a hack for some of you that don't have immediate access to the right circle. Because I don't want you guys to feel like, well, I don't have a circle, so I'm fucked. Well, kind of not, but yeah, but no. But go ahead.
There are two components to building strength by raising the bar.
Next slide. Go ahead.
If you don't curate the people in your life, the people who end up surrounding you will be there by chance and not by choice.
If you don't curate the people that surround you. So anybody ever been around me close? Shabisha been around me. Shakina been around me. Court's been around me. I curate my ass off. Court said something to me a long time ago that was hella dope. His observation. This is when the early Court to Nana friendship. He said, yo, dude, I ain't never seen a house so comfortable where people are so comfortable like this. He goes, I'm not like this. He goes, but I think I know what it is. I'm just listening to him. He's like, what? He goes, you curate who comes in your house, which creates a safe environment. Mm-hmm. Yep. I got little girls I got to practice. I got to protect. I got adults. I don't want all that screaming and hollering in my motherfucking house. And it bet not be no furniture moving in my house. I swear to God, I'll come out like grandma with a shotgun, get your ass out of my house. But I curate the people that the quality of am I lying? The quality of conversations in my house? Oh, we're going to talk about some real shit. If you want to talk about trash, you're going to probably go to your other friend's house. But if you're in my house and all you know about is lower standards, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable. Like, I feel uncomfortable around you. Oh, okay. I can't do shit about that. That's not my job to fix. It's your job to grow. Go ahead, next one. He hit a lot of this, so I'm kind of...
Show me your role models, and I'll show you your future.
Okay, I'm going to get a little deeper on this one. We're an ultra social animal. Ultra social. We're not social. We're ultra. Social animals last long. They have a higher survival rate than animals who live by themselves. What makes us ultra social is we can learn not only, most animals only can learn by they learn from their gene pool. We're capable of learning from multiple gene pools in other animals as well. That's what makes us so powerful. I can learn from everybody in this room that's not part of my gene pool and empower myself. Where most animals like chimpanzees only stay within a gene pool, which makes them, that's why chimpanzees have never made it to the moon. If chimpanzees develop the gene or the capability to learn from other groups, they may fuck around and have a White House. That's real talk. Okay. A lot of times, because we bought into this illusion of individualism, we are literally living our life chasing a dream with no examples. I believe I can be. You motherfuckers are walking around like Disney's greatest act. I believe, and that's all I do. That's who I am. I've talked to so many people in the last 6 months who told me, now I'm struggling and I don't know where I want to go, if I should go left, if I should go right. I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what's going on with my emotions. I don't know how to get outside of this web. I'm stuck. I know, what should you do? I said, who's your exemplar? Who's your role model? Huh? You don't have a role model? Huh? Who do you look up to? Huh? You watch this new generation. Man, fuck, I don't look at none of it. I don't care about me. They are signaling the lowest level of human existence to you. But some of y'all, because you was feeling some kind of stanky ass way, you started repeating that stanky ass comment to the point you start believing it. Only person matters is what I believe and what I feel and what I think. I don't care what other blah, blah, blah say about me. I'm doing me. Keep rolling because this shit about to get deep. Keep going.
When you choose the right exemplars, people with standards higher than yours, you can transcend the standards you've inherited from parents, friends, and acquaintances.
Freeze. So watch this. You was raised in a fucked up environment. You was raised where people didn't move a certain kind of way. You're one of the first people to go to college. All that shit. All my family's hood. My employees look like trash. Exemplars becomes this North Star for you. The people in your head that you say, this is who I want to be like. They can help you inherit ideas and beliefs that can accelerate your growth and speed up the process. Because remember, culture moves faster than individual evolution. Culture moves faster than individual evolution. A motherfucker can spend his whole lifetime believing in one thing and evolve a couple of steps. But why you only move 2 or 3 steps? Culture moves hundreds of steps. Hundreds of steps. Even the culture you're in moves hundreds of steps. This is why when you see people like, what's wrong with these young people? Because culture's moved 100 steps, your ass ain't went nowhere. You and your dumb ass friends in the same space. So if you could plug into a culture rhythm, you can actually, it's almost like catching Bart. You can move twice as fast as thousands of times or hundreds of times faster than you can run. You guys get where I'm going with this? This is some cold shit here. Keep going. Your exemplar shows you.
Sorry. Your exemplars show you what your standards should be.
So your standards, some of y'all think standards is just freedom of choice because you ain't did shit. But when you start doing something, your standards are dictated by how you show up to this world. Pastor Chris decided to be a pastor. God called him, however you want to say it, become a pastor. He don't get the same standards as a rap artist. I decided to become a business owner. I don't have the same standards as a person who has a job. Every time when you have a child, you don't get the same standards as a woman who without a child. Everything changes. You get married, it ain't the same standards as somebody who's single. Everything changes, right? So if you have somebody to hold on to, you can speed that shit up with the speed of light. Keep going.
As Peter Kaufman once told me, no technique has been more responsible for my success in life than studying and adopting the good models of others.
What did Court just teach y'all? Peter Kaufman said he what created his success. He just said let me read. Let me tell you what. Let me paraphrase it in course language. No other person. What's the number one reason for my success? Because I became rich with models. That's why I hated court. I'm like, you don't teach the same shit, huh? I told you, I'm in the fourth quarter. I'm like, these shots don't even count. I'm over there trying to do 360s and shit. Y'all like, boo, we already winning, dude. Dude, you do it too much. so it's. But you guys, you see where I'm going with this? How this is not just. This ain't me. This shit is coming from. This is different sources. We ain't even talked about this lesson. These models you guys are choosing, like he just said that he pulled models from people, other exemplars. I look up to this person, I'm pulling a model from this person. Keep going, next slide. Oh, you made this slide hard to read. Okay,
All right.
Go ahead. Good luck, everybody. May the force be with you.
All right. The mind should have someone whom it can respect.
Listen to that. So real quick, the mind, this is so important. Because some of y'all remember he said some of y'all come from scarcity, so you don't get a chance to focus on who you respect because you're just trying to take care of yourself, right? But now that you want to go somewhere in life, here's a basic rule. Go with it. We have to start from the beginning again.
The mind should have someone whom it can respect, someone whose authority might make even its inner shrine more hallowed. Happy is he who can respect a man, that the very memory of that man can calm and direct him.
So that means that when you just think about somebody, it could calm you down. When you think about somebody, it could change your decision. When you think about somebody, it can make you choose a different, literally go in a total different emotional direction. Go ahead.
He who can thus respect another will quickly be respected himself.
Stop. In the hood, I don't need to respect nobody. Integrity. He's talking about integrity, right? Court asked a dope question. He said, this sounds so crazy because I feel like I'm just repeating this. He said, if you made your best friend a promise and you let him down, how would you feel? He said, I would feel bad. What this thing is saying almost the exact same thing, which is, if you want people to respect you, remember he told Shakina to serve, right? If you want people to respect you more, you have to have somebody you respect. Cold game. They asked Jesus, how do you serve God? What do you say, people?
Serve others.
Serve your brothers. If you not respecting somebody else, you will never get the same respect. Y'all want to be bosses and disrespect people, but ask for respect. What's wrong with you? Even for your employees. If you want your employees to respect you, you got to provide respect to your employees. Go ahead, Corey. You can jump on in there.
I'm going to save it because I got some.
Okay. Keep going.
Therefore, choose a Cato, or if this seems too strict for you, choose a gentler spirit, like a man like Laelius.
Keep going.
Choose someone whose life and speech pleases you, and who displays outwardly the same character he has. Present him to yourself always as your guardian or exemplar. There is need, I insist, for someone against whom to measure our way of life. Unless you have a ruler, you can't straighten what is crooked.
Unless you have a ruler, you can't straighten. Meaning, as you follow somebody else, it will allow you to straighten yourself out. Keep rolling. Next slide.
The people we choose as our exemplars exhibit the principles, the resolve, and the overall patterns of thinking, feeling, and acting that we want to make our own. Their example helps us navigate the world. It becomes our North Star.
Pass the microphone. Turn the microphone.
Hey.
So these people are people that you mostly want to act like, be like, feel like. Like you find these people as your exemplars, you say, I would love to have that life. That's the life I want to have. You read their material, you read their autobiography and go, oh shit, that's how they handled this? Mm-hmm. Oh shit, this is how they got up in the morning? Oh shit, this is how they ate? Oh shit, these are the values they stood close to? Like literally, it is your North Star.
I was saying, quickly, these people don't have to be perfect, by the way.
They're not.
I'm about to get
But
there.
but I think about our retreats with me, you, Pastor Chris, and the folks that's in that house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we share ideas and stories about, we literally take chapters from each other's book.
Absolutely.
And we talk about how we absorb those in our life, and we're emotional about them because it's like me watching this brother. There's puzzle pieces in my life that I couldn't find nowhere, and I see. Wait a minute, you got that piece that I need. That's freely that I could here, take it. And you don't realize, it's take it to you, but this shit's about to make me hella money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hella appreciate and you'll hear that from Pastor Chris, and you'll see it. You'll see our influence on each other in each other's moves, and it's like we need each other, and we're so grateful for each other. And the question always is be like, how can other people that are around us the same amount of time, how come they don't get that? Because it's like, oh shit, that's so dope. Like, thank you so much, Nana, for that. And it's like, no shit, there's nothing. Shit, I got something from you. Or Pastor Chris, I got something from him. And he feels the same way. And it makes us uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable sometimes because I'm like, I ain't that dope. And he'd be like, no, that changed my life. And I'm like, man, I'm not that dope. But you don't realize that that's why this is so powerful.
Man, it's crazy. This is crazy. God, you think you want to?
So Court mentioned earlier about mentorship. And when he was talking about that, I thought it doesn't always have to be like a two-way thing. I have a lot of mentors who are people I probably will never meet. They don't know me because I have access or visibility to what they do, and I can get something from that. But when you're talking now about exemplars, do you think that it can be misleading to look at them that way because you can only see what you see, right? I always think about the point you make, I don't know what that is. So are you still gaining something if you get something from them that may not be exactly what you are seeing?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna get there because I might hold a class extra 10. If y'all give me an extra 10 to 15 minutes, because I want to because it's gonna be the last of this session, so I want to try and close this out. But if I don't answer by the end of the last of this session, make sure we come back to that. Go ahead. But I think I have an answer right now.
I was just gonna ask to Court, with that interaction question that you were talking about, when you guys do your end of the year guide trip, do you think that it's intent of extraction? Like, and I ask that because, like, I'm around you guys a lot. I take the same classes everybody else does. Like, we're all in the same class. But I have hunger because I have a business and I have staff that I have to pay bills. So I'm coming in here hungry as fuck. Like, I can't carry everything, but I'm gonna try to pull as much as possible. And then I'll have a conversation with somebody that sat in the same class, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't get that, or I didn't see that, or I didn't like." There's not the same level of taking away value, and so then I get curious about, is it not necessarily the exposure, but like the intent that you want to have from that exposure? It's
richness of models. So we are comfortable with ditching our models. That's why you look at a Pastor Chris who runs a church, and he's revered, and he has hundreds of people that come to him, and they are like, he is the guy. But he's willing to sit in a class and rock and listen to us, and even like have to go through the cussing and shit because he can extract all the knowledge that he's gained. That's called having a rich having a rich mental model. So he's not like, it has to be this way by this type of person, and these people can't cut, and this and that, or it doesn't work. No, it's richness of models, optionality in thinking, so that if they have something that I can extract, I'm going to extract it. Because you can be ambitious and stubborn. You can be hungry as fuck and egoic as fuck, and you only want it a certain way. But if you have optionality thinking like he's taught this whole time, or or richness in mental models, then more is gonna come and sit and lock in with you in a faster amount of time.
Like if we're on a retreat and I say, Court, I think I've been observing this thing about your business. I think it's a bad idea. He said, well, let me explain to you first, and then if you still think it's a bad idea, let's keep going. And we can go back and forth, but when we're going back and forth, we're arguing, but it's almost like we're arguing and exploring, going, no, I don't think it's here. Well, you think it's here? I don't think it's here. Let me look over here. Like, we're literally exploring. So there's the tension, the friction is removed from a tension space to we're excited. We're trying to get through this. It's like when the end gets here, and sometimes we're all four of us are having a conversation around him, me, or whatever. We're just in that conversation, and we may even stop, eat the food, laugh, do some capping, and get right back into the conversation, right? And then by the end of the situation, whether we're right or wrong, we agitated where he was. Mm-hmm. And now he's like, oh, let me process it different. Let me analyze it different. Let me whatever different. But never does, if he would get canceled for the trip if the whole time he was like, I was offended when you said that, bro. I'll be like, yo, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not gonna spend my time on my free time, my growth time, my download time fighting anybody. It has to be straight lobbing back and forth. And even though, because even when you can feel the shock moment, you're, what's wrong with that? But now it's like, okay, bring it to me. And then, I mean, there was one thing, I think Pastor Chris said something, and me and Mashama and Court was going, and I think Court was kind of supporting Pastor Chris a little bit, then he backed up over, or it might have been him, some one of us, and we was in the car, and we was going around, just debating. But the whole debate was so much love in the debate, because we all live in a world where friction rewards us. And so we are like, yo, we love friction. But the rest of the world has demonized friction. And if you're not at this level of entrepreneurship, you're like, I don't know about that shit. Or I call the other thing that won't that would make us say, no, you can't come and hang out with us, is when you get snagged. If I say, hey, that hat's the wrong kind of hat for what you're trying to achieve, and we get past the conversation, and next week you be like, so last week you said that's the wrong kind of hat, you know, that kind of irritated me and stuff, and I still think it's the right kind of hat. I'm not about to have this conversation over and over and over again about this fucking hat. Who the fuck on? Right? It's just, we also can separate what's important. Like, I'm never gonna call Court and be like, yo, you need to put your money over here. I know that game I'm playing. I know that's not a guarantee. If it was that fucking guaranteed, everybody do it tomorrow and it'd be no good by next week. There's some things you just know you can't tell another person in business because it's just, you're overstepping trying to help that person's strategy, and now you're trying to control that person. It's so many different variables, and when we see that growth, we say, hey, yo, why don't you come on this trip with us? But if we see that you're going to disrupt this flow, we protect that flow by all means. We curate our circle to make sure that circle gives us what we need, because we're all going there to get what we need. We're not going there. I'm not going there to preach. I'm going there to sit with my brothers and throw things back and forth and absorb, and even hear stories make me go, yo, I never saw that before. I never thought about that angle before.
This is something that I'm hearing and observing. What this group has in common is when you hear the way that you all speak about each other, maybe you would say you hella respect each other. But in Shabisha's world, I would say that it's very clear how much y'all love each other. And not that you've known each other for all of each other's lives, but what you share in common is that y'all love people, right? So what you have in common is a love for your people, a love for what it is that you're trying to do. And that's such a glue, and that's such a North Star, and it eases so much of the interaction. And what I noticed in my own self, when we started to really talk about serving, it allowed me to step away from a lot of ego protection. And it also allowed me to step away even further from this thing around expertise, because a couple of years ago I was like, well, what is that? Why do I care? But it allowed me to go to a space of sharing versus coming in to extract anything. But also it allowed me to tap into something that wasn't based around like my own image or what I was trying to get. It was really around like, how can I show up to the space to add value? And because that starts to become a thing, it makes the interaction so different. I think part of what happens, and I didn't always understand this, is like, you will always say, I love Mashama. I never saw that in business before. That's so uncommon to have such goodwill toward the people that you work with. Oftentimes, what we're conditioned for is to be very distrustful of people that we work with. And because it's so common, and because we don't understand that if we want to change that experience in our life, then we have to start showing up to spaces differently. Because we haven't gotten there, any sort of interaction, whether it be exemplar or mentor or peer or any of that, it's hard to fathom it because our paradigm is distrust, our paradigm is transactional, our paradigm is all of these things that are they're not conducive to business or to growth, right? But it's the thing it's the water that we swim in all the time. And so my observation, and what I'm even now sitting in here listening, like what I'm taking away from that is, where are the places that I'm showing up transactional, and am I willing to switch that?
So there's there's one thing that you left out of that equation, as you described, our closeness, is we were made by what we do, right? So we have similar paradigms and mental models that allow us to exist in a place where we feel safe, right? I could be around a group of brothers who, they can't whoop me, but I won't talk about some of the stuff because I don't feel safe talking about it, because I don't feel like dealing with that energy. I just don't want to deal with it, right? I can smash on them, but then how much fun is that? They get up in the morning and go for breakfast, and I wake up and everybody gone. Two is that goes back to that fragility thing. The reason that fragile thing is so cold because all this, I'm protecting myself. It's really an act of fragility. Court got gangster in him. I got gangster in me. We both can get down if we have to. It's nothing. I was talking to my daughter the other day. I said, "Yo, daughter, you know I'd die for you, right? I literally would die for you. It's nothing, right?" Mashama's just an old ass man. Chris is strong. On all 40s men, and then T. Pratt comes from streets. He just come from a hard ass life. But we've all had stuff where we lived in that world, and now we're in this new way of thinking. It's like, yo, what's the fear about you? You ain't trying to come for me. I know who the fuck you are. So if court says, yo, that was some stupid shit, even if he just said it incorrectly in a way that would be unsafe, I'm not gonna hear, now that he told you your shit is stupid, I'm gonna hear, damn, why was that shit stupid? What the fuck are you talking about? What's stupid about that shit? Like literally, it's a certain amount of strength that we have that doesn't allow some of those other flaws, nor are we fighting each other for status. The goal is that we want all of us to rise, right? And by the way, I'm gonna just say real quick, Pastor Chris is doing his damn thing. 400 some odd people attending his church a week. Y'all hear me? Y'all ain't heard that. Okay, that brother doing his thing. He has 2 services, killing it. I'm in love with the way the brother's performing. And Pastor Chris is just so committed to, like, I ain't never had a conversation with him and he was like not focusing on growing his congregation and serving God. I'm not talking about growing like number wise. I'm talking about growing their spiritual life. That brother's amazing. Anyway, let's keep going because I want to get through this because I want to make sure I want to make sure I serve Kaja as well. Let's keep going. Next one.
People at the far right of the bell curve, the positive outliers, can teach you tips, tricks, and insights that might otherwise take a lifetime to learn.
You cannot learn most human beings will never learn how to create fire on their own. This is why your exemplars will speed that fucking process up. You have the ability to move faster than any human race in the history of it. You have the ability to speed up the evolution of yourself by just tapping into the lessons that they've already been through. But you're so busy blocking, like Court said earlier, you're blocking the process. You're blocking the process. You're saying, no, I'm working on the process. No, you don't. No, you won't. And when we give it to you, I'll give you something else. That's boring. I ain't trying to do all that. Too many words. There's a saying that says, complex things require complex thoughts. Can you simplify that for me, Nana? No. You got to sit down and work on this shit and then go implement this shit. I didn't make this shit rocket science. It's just a little complex. Keep going.
They've done the heavy lifting. They've already paid for the lesson, so you don't have to.
That's the value of exemplars. Next slide.
Look around, find the best examples you can of people with the attributes you want to cultivate.
So look around you, find the best people you can, people you want to cultivate. Go ahead.
The people whose default behavior is your desired behavior. Those who inspire you to raise the bar and make you want to be a better version of yourself.
So they have to inspire you to be a better version of yourself, not be yourself. You can't find, like, your name is Pookie, you can't go call Tyrone to be your exemplar. It's not going to work. Right? You need somebody that's going to raise you to a higher level. Go ahead.
Your exemplars needn't be alive.
They don't even need to be alive. That's the good part.
They can be either dead or fictional as well.
Even make believe like the Avengers. I'm not even exaggerating with this. Anybody ever heard the story like when I was 5? My exemplar was Conan the Barbarian.
Yes.
It was a cartoons character. And he always figured his way out of stuff, and he had this heroic way of showing up. So when I would be in situations where I'd be like, I'm about to be like Conan. And like, what would Conan do in this situation? I'm about to get out. I used that to, like, all the way up to like maybe 9th or 10th grade. That was my exemplar that got me through my younger years. Keep going.
Look around.
I think next slide.
Next slide.
Next slide. Look around again. But the best of you.
That's duplicate. I think.
Oh, it's duplicated. Yeah, okay. Next one. Yeah, okay, go.
Okay.
Now here we go, Kaja. This is where it gets heavy right here.
Put all of your exemplars on your personal board of directors.
So here's the thing: you don't have one exemplar. You have a group of exemplars. Keep going.
A concept that originates with author Jim Collins.
Okay.
The exemplars on your personal board can be a mix of high accomplishment and high character. The only requirement is that they have a skill, attitude, or disposition you want to cultivate in yourself. They don't have to be perfect. All people have flaws.
So here's the thing. So 2 things. I got 2 points on this. First point. When me and Mashama was growing 510 Media, we didn't look at the local firms. We looked at firms that were like in New York. We still do this. And overseas, whoever were the leaders, and we'll say, what would they do in these situations? They were our competition, our exemplars. We even had historical people who would say, yo, how would he or she show up to this situation? That's number 1. 2, here's one of the things that I hate the most. I'm giving somebody advice. They say, now, how would you do this? I'm giving some advice. And they say, I would have heard you if you would have said it this way. I said, motherfucker. And this I will say to your face. I just want to say to you. I say, motherfucker. So you mean I got to figure out your route to talk to you? And if I don't understand your map route to talk to you, I don't have access to you? Some of y'all are going to do that with your exemplars. If they're not perfect by your very perfect definition, they can't talk to you. Like, I've been watching this online. Some people have still kept as well as I, Bill Cosby as one of the exemplars. Do you agree with everything he did? Fuck no. You're going to find out if you find somebody that you like. But Bill Cosby gave me family examples of how to show up to my family that said, hey, I want some of those values in my household. He also was a cold black activist coming up since the 70s and did some of the coldest work we have ever seen in our community that I say, yo, I want to get down like that. I can take on what I want from him and leave the rest of the shit behind. And that's how all my exemplars, I am not 100% loyalist of any of my exemplars. If I find out the next day that they was shooting something, doing some improper stuff, I'm disconnect that, but still hold on to the lessons I want from them. You guys get where I'm going with this? We're not talking about copying and pasting or becoming fans or anything like that. We're saying no. Exemplar is somebody that it helps you hold yourself accountable to a higher standard. Without those exemplars, I promise you're wishy-washy. Without those exemplars, you're wishy-washy. Unless you belong to a strong group that is full of exemplars within the group that's holding you to a certain standard, exemplars allow you to be able to audit your behavior and hold yourself accountable. Go ahead, Shakina.
So let's say that you're going to commit yourself to this process of getting exemplars. And like being like specific, because I'm sure we all have people we look up to, but like we haven't like made the clear decision. But we don't have like access to these people. How
Yes, you
do
do.
you?
Let's keep going. We'll get there. Hold that question.
Okay.
Just like her. Hold the question. We'll get there. Keep going.
All people have flaws, and your personal board will be no different. But everyone is better than us at something.
So everybody around you is better than you at something, even kids. Go ahead.
Our job is to figure out what that something is and learn from it while ignoring the rest.
There you go. Keep going. Next slide.
One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is that they don't want to learn from someone who has a character blemish or a worldview that doesn't align with theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Seneca captured the right approach when he said, On the Tranquility of the Mind, I shall never be ashamed of citing a bad author if the line is good. Or as Cato the Elder put it, be careful not to rashly refuse to learn from others. Don't throw away the apple because of a bruise on the skin.
Too many of y'all are literally not embracing. I learned from Trump. I straight learned from Trump. I was sitting there going, I don't agree with everything the dude's saying, but that was cold. It threw away everything else. There's everybody. Never get to the point that you demonize somebody so much you can't see the brilliance in something they did. I was at this. By the way, there's this new store up on Skyline, on top of Skyline. It's called Skyline Market. Right? Has some of the nicest. It's one of the nicest markets around in Oakland. You ever go to the top of 35th? It's called Skyline Market. I'm talking to the owner, and as I'm rapping with him, I said, he says, "Yeah, man, you know these employees I have." They wouldn't get paid so much money, and you know they just hard to deal with. And you know, back in my days, I said, do me a favor, stop demonizing them. It is what it is. So that way your brain can work on a solution, which is how can you make more money? Because as I look at your business, there's so many opportunities you're missing because your business needs to be polished and needs to be fine-tuned. So by you focusing on shit that doesn't matter, you can't get to the solution. By you not learning to sit around great people and great minds, you can extract the value for yourself. When you get into this good versus bad, and you over leverage that shit, you can't see. That shit is just as bad as, that's a form of binary thinking that limits what you can see. And when I told him, I said, look, these kids are not bad. It is what it is. You just ain't figured out how to maximize your business. Then he said, yeah, you know, another thing is that for some reason, people ain't coming up here. He just kept talking about his victimization. I said, oh, by the way, you know, the people quit here. These young kids, they quit at the drop of a dime. I said, oh, okay. So, why are you here? Why are you here? Shit, to make money. I said, and I would quit too, motherfucker. Because at the end of the day, kids want to join a mission. And until you can come up with a mission, there is no fucking value for you being here. I said, and now here's the coldest thing. Here's a cold example. His business is struggling, and if you went into a store, it's almost perfect. Am I lying, Shakina? It's almost perfect. If you eat healthy, if you want to eat healthy for a living, just go to Skyline Market every day, and you'd be like, oh my God, all this healthy ass food, right? The only thing he doesn't have is a meat produce, but he has every other product. He has frozen foods that are just so organic. It's crazy how much good food. He has products you ain't never seen before, imported from different places in the world. The place is super clean. The parking lot is super quiet. Lighting super perfect. Prices are great. Everything you want. When you look in there, you just feel like, what do I want? Let's just look inviting, right? Meaning he built a perfect business. He did all the tactical things right. And you know why he's suffering? Because he doesn't own the story part of it. And his psychological resistance to change. Like he built the place, and I don't understand why these people, you're not victimized, bro. Shut the fuck up. I said, I could tell you where you're going. I said, even if you raise your prices by 10 cents, that could be the money you need to pay these people. But your brain won't even entertain that fucking solution because you stuck on being pissed off because they want more money.
What's crazy is like, because I own a gym, like I've sent all of my clients to that store. And every single person that's gone to the store has loved the store and now shops there on a regular basis.
But still, I mean, the volume.
Not enough volume. But
right.
what I'm saying is that if you have all these brand new people that have unbiased reasons to say how much they love this place, and you're not even actively trying to grow, like the amount of potential.
So remove the word actively trying. I'm saying is that when you block, this is what Court was saying earlier, when you block yourself with other thoughts, you can't even see the possibility of trying. That's what he's saying. The system is clogged. So he's trying because he's there every day working all day long. It's that he can't see the other strategical calls because he's stuck in his space. Now watch how he can destroy that business. Beautiful place. Perfect produce. Perfect product. Products in his store, right? But I notice his vegetables and his bread is losing freshness. You know why? He don't have volume. So if you don't have volume, it'll force him to corner store vegetables and corner store bread, because bread has to move off your shelf at a certain amount of time. So you go there right now. He has every healthy bread known in the industry, because I eat healthier breads. So he has every brand, right? I went there last time, his shelves wasn't as strong. And some of the breads were there was a little old, right? You could touch the bread and it just doesn't squeeze the same way, right? His spinach some of them are wilted in the bag. That means his volume's not happening. So if he don't get that business up by doing better business, the quality of that store will eventually do this. And all of a sudden, it's just a corner store. See, business is a cold game. And so that's why I'm saying the psychological stuff, it's an ecosystem. You don't get to not develop. You can't be in business, build a perfect business, and I'm going to just make some money. Well, then you're not going to be able to fine tune the business to be able to run the business in an optimal way. Let's keep going.
Your personal board of directors isn't static.
This is where it goes. It isn't static. Keep going.
People come and go.
They will come and go. Your board will come and go. Meaning that as you grow, people fall off your board. They're no longer valuable. I can't learn anything else from you. I've learned all I need to learn from you. I'm on to the next board member. Keep going. And you should be, every time they fall off, you should be excited. Keep going.
You're always curating the list. Mm-hmm. To take it back to The Godfather.
Do you understand me?
Sometimes you want the peacetime consigliere. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you want the wartime consigliere. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you've learned what you can from someone and you want to replace them with someone else. Mm-hmm. Each person tends to lead you to the next.
So they lead you to the next. So even if your exemplar is not perfect, they will lead you to the next. Mm-hmm. It's only if you use your exemplar as a form of comfort, you don't get any benefits from them. But if you're using them to learn, at some point, you'd be like, yeah, I know what you're going to say. I know what you would do. Read all that. And then as you're reading more and you're constantly learning, if you're not trying to grow, learning could be toxic. It can just be toxic. I got a play brother right now. He's just so fucking toxic. Hella smart, has zero impact. I don't think his bank account ever seen any real major money. And I don't think he's ever moved out the ghetto a day of his life. College graduated like a motherfucker. Can talk, he can come in here and use words I don't even remember. But yet he doesn't do anything. He's almost trapped. His ego got him trapped. Keep going. He hasn't changed his map since I known him. Keep going, next one. Next slide.
Masters have a different standard, often one of elegance and beauty.
Stay with this.
And when you put masters on your board, you raise the bar for yourself. What seemed good enough before doesn't seem good enough anymore.
There you go. So when you put a master on your board, that's another thing too. When you put masters on your board, all of a sudden, it's like what you used to like, you don't like anymore. It's going to change all your standards slowly. That's how you know your standards are growing. It's like if you go back to do something like, remember Court told that story when he tried to go back to an environment he used to hang out in and he didn't like it anymore? His standards was grown. So even when you try to go back to the hood and hang out with your old friends, you can't anymore. Your standards are grown. You try to get that old person you used to sleep with. God damn, I can't get to this. My standards are grown. right? I'm keeping it 100, right? Keep going.
The benefit of working with someone in person is that it allows for a natural back and forth.
This is the benefit of working with someone, a natural back and forth, right? That back and forth is so fucking critical, but many of y'all disturb the back and forth. Because I throw something your way and all of a sudden it's, and I'm no. By the time it comes back to me, I'm like, I'm not going to throw it back. It's just, this shit is, how you gonna put nails in a fucking ball and think I'm going to throw it back? I don't want to catch this shit. Right? So it's just one of those things where throwing concepts back and forth requires a certain level of maturity for that process to work. Keep going.
More a coaching relationship than a mere model.
There's more of a coaching relationship than a mere model. Go ahead.
A personal relationship also allows you to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
to reach out when you need it. But working in person with someone you admire isn't always possible. Still, that doesn't mean you have to accept the lot of people around you.
So that means that even though you're by yourself, you don't have to accept all the people around you. Keep going.
The phone in your pocket.
Shakina, read that first line again.
The phone in your pocket.
I think your voice was too low. Raise your voice a little bit because I'm sorry because I feel like you're not showing your true vocal maturity. Go ahead.
The phone in your pocket.
You understand me? Go ahead.
Literally gives you access to the smartest people who've ever existed, alive or dead.
That is so fucking honestly true. Keep going.
Even if you don't have direct contact with them, you can often listen to them talk in their own words.
You know that's why that's why a lot of people are not on Twitter, right? A lot of people are on Twitter with exemplars. They don't really talk to them. They just want to read how they think. They want to hear their articles, right? Their autobiographies, blogs, YouTube interviews. Like once you pick your exemplar, you can follow. I found material. I found Marcus Garvey speeches. You know how long ago Marcus Garvey's been gone? By the way, Marcus Garvey was the largest African American movement in the United States. Most of y'all didn't know that. He had 2 million, some people say 4, but I say 2 million followers. That's what's stated. But my mother-in-law said 4 million followers. Ain't none of the black leaders you've ever heard about recently ever had that many followers, ever. Go ahead. He's one of my exemplars.
Even if you don't have direct contact with them, you can often listen to them in their own words, unfiltered. Think about that for a second. For the first time in history, you have the opportunity to listen to your exemplars explain things in their own way without someone getting in the middle.
A lot of those podcasts that y'all don't fucking listen to have so many dope ass exemplars that y'all could have followed and stuck with and used that person to raise your fucking standards. But guess what y'all do? Oh, what podcast? I didn't know you gave me a podcast. The last 3 podcasts I gave y'all was full of so much fucking fire. It's ridiculous. And if you listen to the podcast and say, "Oh, I'm getting that book," and you just read their books, and then went on and listened to other podcasts they produce, that's a form of an exemplar on your board. That's like you say, "I like the way that person thinks. I'm going to follow that person to the point that you actually know what they would say in any given situation." But guess what y'all do? I ain't got time for that. Because y'all know the importance of culture. You've been taught individualism over culture, and you move like an individual, which means you're moving in a dumbass way. You're moving in an ignorant ass way because your brilliance is based upon the strength of your group. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm saying you making yourself stupid. You think you smart because your dumbass crew is dumb as fuck. Keep going.
You're never alone if you have a personal board of directors. Mm-hmm. They're always there. Mm-hmm. You can imagine them watching you make decisions and power moves.
My mother was one of my exemplars. So when I was a kid, I went to go get some shoes. She used to work at Houston Shoes in Berkeley. And my mother used to tell me we get like 3 pairs of shoes a year. So it was one of the times I was supposed to go there and get my shoes, right? So I'm on my way to go get my shoes. And my mother's like trying on these wingtips because I wanted some wingtips at this point. I think I was 16, 17. So I wanted to start wearing suits every day at 16, 17. So I was getting some wingtip shoes. And her white supervisor came out and said, "Yvonne, get your ass in the back." Right? Or something like that. But it was like a violent tone. She said, "Motherfucker, as long as you live, if you ever see me, my motherfucking son, don't you ever raise your voice." So son, you like these shoes or not? And I said, "Ooh, I want to be like her when I get older." And she made me challenge my fragility every day. So when I would get somebody would check me and I'll go to crunch. I'd be like, Damn, my mother's telling me right now, she'll call me a bitch. I ain't scared of you. Voice all cracking, right? But eventually I built the strength in myself and started to realize, like, you know, my mother's the first person, like, when I ran home and I'm running from, her name was Reggie, and Reggie was throwing rocks at me. I ran in the house, and I said, okay, Mama, Reggie was throwing rocks at me. My mother came and slapped the fuck out of me. Get your ass up. Don't you ever let no motherfucker chase you now to go out there and be able to fight that boy. Start aside, so right now you two going to fight. And we fought, and I was like, oh, fighting ain't that bad. This is kind of fun. So when I was in high school and me and my boys got jumped, it was one of the best fights I ever, this was so much fun. And we never went down. We went back to back, and we was just throwing punches, getting hit. I was like, that shit was I could do that every day. She removed some of the pain points that some of y'all have been crumbled, calling police and filing lawsuits. And for me, it was like she changed my tolerance of pain. So my exemplar told me, which was my own mother, yo, don't ever let white supremacy crumble you. And she went back to work the next day like it was nothing. Like, psh. I was like, Mom, you cussed a white man out. I ain't never seen that before. She's like, he's a white man. What the fuck are you gonna do to me? And I was just like, yeah, I'll go be you one day. You hella tight. I lived most of my life. So she helped me get to my strength side. She's the cause of most of my strength, was trying to be like my mother. Keep going.
And once you imagine them watching, your behavior is bound to reflect this new audience.
That's right.
They will help set standards that you strive to live up to.
That's right.
And give you a ruler against which to measure yourself.
So they would give you a ruler to measure yourself to. Without an exemplar, who will you measure yourself to? I want you to understand that. You want some Disney shit. Somewhere out there beneath the deep blue sea. Keep going. Yeah, I can do it again. Go ahead.
You're not a failure if you come up short, if you don't write a best-selling book or become a billionaire or work out every day. You're not in competition with your exemplars. The only person you're competing with is the person you were yesterday. Victory is being a little better today.
Is that cold? Let's get 3 more slides. Let's roll. Come on. Let's just roll, because I'm mad I ain't going to be able to finish this shit, but just keep going. Go ahead.
Choosing the right exemplars helps create a repository of good behavior.
Mm-hmm.
As you read what people have written, as you talk to them, as you learn from their experiences, as you learn from your own experiences, you begin to build a database of situations and responses. Building this database is one of the most important things you'll ever do, because it helps create space for reason in your life. Instead of reacting and simply copying those around you, you think, here's what the outliers do.
See, this is when you get a chance. So when all my friends are celebrating Christmas and I cut it loose, I was using another exemplar for that. That's why I can move different than everybody around me. Even when my whole house was going left, I was going right. Right? When my wife wasn't working out, you on your own. I'm on my way out of here. And when my wife was not showing a certain level of discipline, I didn't break my discipline. And matter of fact, if it got to a point, I'll create even as much space as I could when necessary, because I was focused on what I had to do based upon the way exemplars were setting the stage for me. Because I ain't always had the privilege of having the 5-10 media circle around me, but all these people in my life that can reinforce. I didn't have court all my whole life, but the whole time I created exemplars to help me stay focused on what I needed to do. Farrakhan was one of my exemplars on my board at one point. Mm-hmm. I grew past Farrakhan, but Farrakhan was on my board for. Elijah Muhammad was on my board for a little while. Mm-hmm. Keep going.
If we have our board stacked with high character people, we'll end up wanting to be the highest character version of ourselves.
Of ourselves. There you go.
We'll have the confidence to take a moral stand.
The confidence to take a moral stand. Keep going.
And to act alone when the social tide goes the wrong way.
Uh-huh.
We needn't passively follow its ebbs and flows. Our personal board gives us the courage and insight to swim in the direction that's best.
That's best for us. Keep going. I want y'all to see this stuff. Keep going.
A final note on exemplars. Just as other people serve on your personal board of directors, you serve on other people's board.
Meaning that you serve as you show up to rise to your highest point, you become an exemplar for somebody else. I want you to understand this. This is this herd cycle that we're in, right? So I follow you to become great. Then as I become great, somebody follows me to become great. And the whole group accelerates our greatness from copying and pasting each other. Here's the thing. As humans, we are perfect copiers. We unconsciously copy each other, like perfectly, right? But we're not perfect. We copy each other, but we are flawed in our copy. So what happens is we copy with a slight variance. But that variance doesn't mean weaker or stronger. Sometimes it's stronger. The way you get a Michael Jordan is he copied hella people before him, and he just happened to be a variance that just happened to do it stronger. And then hella people copy him, then here comes a Kobe Bryant, and hella people copy him, and then here comes a LeBron James. They're all copying each other, but because human beings, when we copy, they even learn to walk like each other. Like Kobe walked, talked, looked, and act, but in the end, he was off. But his off worked for him, right? LeBron came in, I'm going to be 23, copying. He's off because he's not built like that, but it worked for him. Right? So what you'll find is that everybody is a copy of somebody else. They just a variant. Curry's a variant of his father. His father was a cold-ass shooter, right? He's just a better variant that copied these things, but then because we can't copy perfectly in our imperfection, sometimes our imperfection makes us better. Keep going.
Denzel Washington reminds us of this point. You never know who you touch. You never know how or when you'll have an impact or how important your example can be to someone else.
Keep going. I'm trying to get, because if you just read them, just keep going.
Maybe it's the new employee down the hall.
This is important. You know why? Because you guys are exemplars to your staff. And if you show up a certain kind of way because you ain't worked through your shit, all your poisonous behavior is not poisoning the team. Go ahead.
Maybe it's your kids.
Your family, your kids are fucked up. A lot of the fucked up behavior come from your poisoning exemplar positioning with your kids. Keep going.
Maybe it's your cousin. It doesn't matter. What matters is there's someone out there looking up at you and using your behavior as their North Star. Everything you do has the power to change someone else's life for the better.
So everything you do, remember the old Christian saying, let your light shine? Everything you do has the ability to change your life for the better. Keep going.
As Seneca said, happy is he who can improve others, not just when he is in their presence, but even when he is in their thoughts.
So could you imagine that your life is so valuable that when you die, you're still in changing other people's lives? Stay with me. Keep going. We're going to roll. I'm trying to get as many easy because this is our last class for, I think the last class, I think we're going to just really just have a conversation. But go ahead. Keep going. Oh, that's it. Okay, that was it, huh?
Yes.
We made it. What?
I was like,
What? I'm hella tight. Anyway, did I answer your question, Kaja? Okay, good. Shakina, you good? Good. Everybody good? Listen, it's gonna be the last class next week. We're gonna work on some special food and snacks. We'll make that class feel really, really good. But I think we're gonna really do a conclusion for the year and really tap into some things. Maybe we'll close out this space we're in and kind of have a conversation with you. Also, I'm gonna have a book for you guys to read over the break that I haven't suggested for you guys to agitate some thoughts. But just know this: that one thing we brought up in this class, that one of the major changes we're going to focus on from this point moving forward in Hope program is we're going to focus on the culture over the class. The class will always direct the culture, but we're going to work on growing the 510 media culture, the Hope culture, so then all of us can become this group that allows us to create this healthy back and forth that we all need, right? And teach us how to even show up in that space. Because some of y'all live in spaces where there is no back and forth. You say what you got to say, don't you offend me. I say what I got to say, don't you offend them. And then everybody's kind of tiptoeing like everybody's on fucking eggshells. But if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to be in an environment where people are challenging all of your ideas. Because in the friction space is where your ideas mature. If you avoid the friction, you are practicing fragility. All right? That being said, enjoy this class. Talk to y'all soon. Peace.